And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit. Like God's property, it's hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said
the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
The white man is enacting a story all over the world. We left our homes and flooded the world. We smothered culture. We smothered knowledge. We erased history and rewrote it our way. Myself, my grandfather is 100% Ashkenazi Jewish. Claiming to be Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish is just a conspiracy. White men claiming to be of tribes of Israel when I'm Germanic. You know, I have no ties to Israel, no ties to Judaism. You know, except loosely written history that's been whitewashed over for centuries. And you know,
from the Renaissance.
Oh yeah, right. You wipe everything clean. It's funny how exactly the Renaissance. It's this rebirth, but it's white rebirth. I think at the same exact time the Renaissance is happening, Columbus is sailing to America and committing genocide.
Only one true ethnic Jew, the Mizrahi Jew, because they are Africans, and if you read the original Bible written in Phoenician Hebrew, they're not. Jewish people are not Europeans. The modern Jews in Israel are Russians from Khazars, to be precise, from Russia. I learned it from my grandfather that he was because he was an Ashkenazi Jew.
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israelites, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time,
but
all that he said,
no, we don't have
so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews?
Now I can't figure it out. If y'all are the chosen ones, shouldn't y'all be obeying better than me? I mean, I even try to keep the 4th commandment. Try to keep the Sabbath day holy. I've spent many of hours trying to figure out which is the right Sabbath day, because we know that old Catholic Church, something a little fishy about them, don't we? With that white Jesus. I mean, here's a white guy telling you black people that your Messiah is not a long-haired white European guy. Your Messiah is Hebrew, my darker-skinned brothers and sisters. When are you guys going to wake up and become kings and queens?
Okay, I was just thinking about this morning. I grew up Baptist. I went to Vacation Bible School. I've read the Bible. I don't know if I'm interpreting it correctly, but if we are made in God's image, right, and the first modern humans originated in Africa, if God has a human form, God is black. God is black.
I was a Christian missionary for years, but there came a time in my life when I realized that what I was taught about the Bible was a lie. In my confusion, I cried out for help. I met an Israelite who introduced me to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, who is described in the Bible as having hair white as wool and eyes red as fire. Yes, the God in the Bible is black.
It does not matter what color Jesus was. What matters is that he came to the earth, lived a perfect life, died a death for the sins of the world, and then conquered the grave, proving that he is the Son of God. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just doesn't matter.
God's people, the Most High has chosen, the Hebrews, the blacks in America, okay? We're about to see some power. Come on, y'all. You got to get out of this lie, okay? You got to get out of this lie. You have got to come out of this lie. This white Jesus that you are worshiping is going to take you to hell. Please wake up. Oh, in the name of Yahushua, wake up. Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost. Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yahushua is an alpha, strong, black man. He is a Negro. He is a Hebrew. I don't know what word you need to hear to understand who they are, but it is not me. I am not a chosen. You can get mad. It doesn't matter. This is how the Most High has done it. I am a Gentile, and I know my place. But I'm called to tell all of these Gentile whites that I know that you are in the deepest deception that you have ever been in, and you have been in it your whole life. And the awakening is happening now. People are waking up.
That's why I'm convinced Jesus was black, you know, because he hasn't come back yet. Like, that's the... He said, I will be back in an hour that you least expect it. That is the blackest thing I've ever heard in my life. He's going to confuse the hell out of everybody, all the white people when he comes back, too. Because he's like, it's been a minute. White people will be like, it's been 2,000 years, Jesus. What are you talking about?
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us, because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
So, a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany. They looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
Assalamu alaikum. In the 13th tribe, Arthur Koestler traces the origin of Eastern Europe's Jewish population that was largely decimated by the Nazi onslaught during the Second World War. Through extensive research, he discusses the history of a trading empire that was set up by a tribe known as the Khazars. The Khazar Empire was located between the expanding power blocks of Christianity and Islam, and the people were converted to Judaism by their king as a way of standing apart from both. The Khazarians and their wealth were dispersed through the countries of Eastern Europe after the collapse of the Khazar Empire. The Khazarians were not a Semitic people, that they called themselves Jews after their conversion to Judaism is as absurd as the Chinese Muslims calling themselves Arabs.
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black.
Wells comes face to face with the man he's been searching for. A new portrait of the common ancestor of every man today. Adam. Without the skull, we can't know for sure what Adam looked like. But a combination of genetic evidence, Bender's forensic skills, and cutting-edge computer software suggests he looked something like this. Thousands of years after the Bible, and hundreds of years after Michelangelo, we have a whole new face for Adam.
I was very excited when I first started to get evidence, and it was so counterintuitive. I'd put 20 Europeans and 20 African Americans on a sheet of X-ray film, and every African American showed differences, and all the Europeans looked the same. And I thought I'd mislabeled something, or I thought I'd made some drastic mistake. And we kept repeating and repeating things. And as we got more samples from different areas, I realized that it was a difference in the pattern, and that this whole new type of evidence based on mitochondria was going to change the way we thought about modern humans.
But the CT scan has one more surprise for Alejandro. Shammai's ethnicity.
Well, they have just told me that Shammai had Nubian features, which means that their ruling family was probably Nubian, and that was unexpected.
Examining Shammai's anatomy closely, the thickness of his bones and the shape of his nasal cavity, the anthropologists think he was a black African, likely from neighboring Nubia. A huge revelation that challenges the prevailing image of the Egyptian ruling class.
We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. And in this sense, Shammai is representing the society of the frontier, in which different ethnic groups were mixed. At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shammai was Egyptian. At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shammai was Egyptian. At the end,
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just doesn't matter.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Hope and pray that you guys had a great week. Hope and pray that you guys had a great week. We got a lot to cover tonight. Not going to delay or prolong the time, the hour, as far as getting right into the information. But we have a lot to cover. But I want to also say thank you for the thoughts, the prayers, because I know a few days ago I lost my voice. I think it was actually Tuesday, lost my voice, but I got it back. But I really appreciate the love and support from you guys. And let's continue this momentum into this new year. We had a lot of momentum. We closed out hitting 52,000 subscribers. And I want to encourage you guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, click the like and subscribe to it. If you have not hit the like button as of yet, click that like button because that helps a lot with the algorithms. And I want to encourage you guys, if you have YouTube channels, share this information, share it. Just like the video I uploaded a couple of hours ago. I got another video I'm going to upload before the weekend is out that's going to really give you some additional information to really help educate our brothers and sisters, and also those that are in the other communities, the other nations that may challenge you with your knowledge base. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. We got a lot to cover tonight. And as you see here, I'm going to stretch the screen out. As you see on your screen, the question, or not just the question, the topic for tonight is the Israelites are Negus or Negus, right? And I'm going to explain this. Some of you guys remember some of what I'm going to cover tonight over a year ago, almost 2 years ago. But I'm going to take it a step further here. So again, our subject for tonight, the Israelites, right? The Israelites, they were nigga. Let me say that again. The ancient Israelites, they were
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
Could you use it in a sentence?
Real nigga roll call. Niggas bleed. Jigga my nigga. Niggas for life. Real niggas don't die. Shame on a nigga. Suck a nigga. Ain't no nigga. Ain't no nigga.
Negus.
And would you say the word loudly for the judges?
Nigga.
Negus.
One more time.
Nigger.
Negus.
Negus.
Nigga.
Negus.
So we're going to give clarity tonight. And I'll say that this again. Our subject for tonight is the ancient Israelites, right? The ancient Israelites, they were
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
And they were not Khazars. All right. Now I know some of you guys probably was eating, and some of you guys probably choked on whatever you were eating or drinking, but I want to make sure that I add a little humor here. But I want to use that as an opportunity to really take this studies a lot deeper for many of you guys that are tuning in for the first time. All right. So again, the ancient Israelites, right? They were Negus or Negus. And I'm going to explain to you as we progress in this lesson why am I pronouncing it Negus or Negus, right? But they were not Khazars. I'll say that again. They were not Khazars. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this. Take your notes. Share this again if you haven't. Click the like button. Click it now. Hit that like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the numbers. Let's really get those numbers up tonight. Let's make it so that way we start messing with that algorithm instantly. So I see right now we're getting up there with the numbers in terms of those that are in the chat. Looks like we have. Let me just check real quick. Looks like we have over 600 inside the chat. So let's get those likes up. Let's at least get it up to 300. If we have over 600 people in the building, we should be able to get those likes up, get those thumbs up to over 300. And even if you don't like what's being said tonight, guess what? Still hit that thumb, whether it's up or down. You know what I mean? It still makes a world of a difference in pressing through that algorithm. But I have a lot of information we're going to share tonight. And again, share it, make notes. Don't let this information fall on deaf ears. All right. So let's go to get into this. I know it's a lot to cover, but let's get into it. My first question, right, that I have to answer, and I will answer this over the progression of this lesson, and I'm going to do it live tonight. I mean, not tonight, but tomorrow night. All right. But I got to create the thumbnail and all that. I meant to post it. Been kind of late with making my scheduling my lives, but it is what it is. You guys know that I was feeling under the weather early in the week, feeling much better. But nevertheless, was the ancient Israelites Khazars or Negro? We're going to answer that question. Was the ancient Chaldeans Khazars or Negroes? Well, let's come out swinging. Let's come out swinging. We're going to start with this source here. We're going to deal with the Chaldeans, right? We're going to deal with the Chaldees, because this is the territory that Abraham was raised in. This is the territory that Abraham dwelled. Sarah dwelt. His father dwelt. His family dwelt. So let's get an idea of exactly who the Chaldees were. All right, let's go here. Right? It says here, in consequence of the prejudice, for it is really prejudice against the Negro, or I ought rather to say against the possibility of a Negro being learned and scientific arising from an acquaintance with the present Negro character. I admit with great difficulty the theory of all the earlier astronomical knowledge of the Chaldees having been acquired or invented by his race, and that the Chaldees were originally what? Originally what? Do you see it on your screen, family? Do you see it on your screen? Do you see it on your screen? So I want all of us, all you guys inside the chat, I want you to type this in together, right? Instead of Nigger, type in EGUS. All right, type that in. So it says that the Chaldees were originally
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
Could you use it in a sentence?
Real nigga roll call. Niggas bleed. Jigga my nigga. Niggas for life. Real niggas don't die. Shame on a nigga. Suck a nigga. Ain't no nigga.
Negus.
And did you say the word loudly for the judges?
Nigga.
Negus.
One more time.
Nigger.
Negus.
Nigga.
Negus.
All right. So you see here, right now, and I'm going to post this. Matter of fact, let me drop this source in the comment section here in the chat for you guys to take it and, add it to your library. All right. Because we're going to prove that, the people that interacted with the ancient Israelites, they look just like them. Pretty much. They were dark melanated people, not what we see today. All right. So you guys see it here. I know some of you guys are cringing when you see niggas or niggas because of what? How we've been programmed. We've been hacked. We've been hacked through suppression. We've been hacked through persecution. We've been hacked through slavery. The very words that were actually words of compliment, and I'm going to prove it as we progress here. The very people that have oppressed us took those complimentary words, those words of honor, and made it into a byword, made it into a slang, just like Deuteronomy 28 prophesied, right? Those are the consequences for what? Breaking the commandments, breaking the covenant. All right. So let me read this one more time. It says here, all right, let me bring this over again because I got multiple screens going on here. But it says here, and you guys see it on your screen. And matter of fact, I'm letting the Strongs, the Greek Strongs, actually give the pronunciation of this word. You know, Simon or Simeon, right? That you see in the book of Acts. This is the actual pronunciation of the word. It's not Niger. Actually, it's pronounced this way.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger. Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
All right, so I want to make sure you guys had that there. All right, who is this here? And family, if there's anyone, especially moderators, if there's anyone in the chat that are trolling and basically in a nutshell spamming, put them out. Put them out the chat. We don't have time for that. We don't need that distraction here. All right. So I went on and just knocked that person out. Mike, whoever that person was. But we don't need any distraction, especially with the information we're sharing tonight. Not any night, but tonight I just want to share a lot of information with you guys. All right. So if you guys see it before I see it, don't hesitate. Ban them. Don't give warnings. Just ban them. So, all right. So again, it says here that the Chaldees were originally Negroes. But this prejudice wears away when I go to precursors of the Brahmins, the Buddhists, and when I reflect upon the skill and the fine arts which they must have possessed when they executed the beautiful and most ancient sculptures in the Museum of the India House, and the knowledge of astronomy shown in their cycles of stone. And it goes on to say that the Buddhists were Negroes. Wait a minute. They said the Buddhists were Negroes? Not only the Chaldees, but they also said the Buddhists were Negroes, and pointing to their ancient sculptures. The icon of the god clearly proves, but we're not going to stop here. Now, I'm just going to reiterate one of the key point here that I want to make sure we understand with the Chaldees. The early astronomical knowledge of the Chaldees having been acquired or invented by his race, and that the Chaldees were originally Negroes. So what is the skin complexion of the ancient Israelites? Let me say that again. What is the skin complexion of the ancient Israelites? But I want to make this clear, and you guys saw it inside the community channel. See, when you are a blood descendant of Israel, when you understand that the dark melanated Negroes look just like Israelites, look just like you, look just like me, guess what? We don't have to convert by way of a religion to make the declaration or, to proclaim to others that we come in all kinds of colors. No, we don't come in all kinds of colors. We come in all kinds of shades, right? The dark melanated Israelites come in all shades. And the great thing about being a blood descendant of the ancient Israelites, this is something that you are born into. You can't convert. It's something you are born into. And you know what? I just thought about it, and I'm going to deal with this subject again. I dealt with it a while back for those that are in the church that's been trolling with this spiritual Egypt, or not Egypt, but spiritual Israel. I'll do a special lesson for you guys. And I will actually open up the mic for any one of you guys that have the courage to jump on and try to push that theology of, spiritual Israel, which comes from covenant theology, which is actually, this is where you get replacement theology, because replacement theology is a branch of covenant theology. But with that being said, apologies for the commercial break. Let's get back into our regularly scheduled program. What is the skin complexion of the ancient Israelites? What is the skin complexion of the ancient Israelites? All right. The Israelite skin complexion would be that of the Negro. Let me say that again. The Israelite skin complexion would be that of the Negro. I meant to put some images in here, didn't have time, but we're going to progress here. So Abraham and Sarah, guess what? They were Negroes who lived in Ur Chaldee, right? They were Negroes. I didn't put the scriptures here because I didn't want to get into the scriptures and reading that and thus making this presentation longer than what it should. But guess what? You guys study the scripture. You'll see that in Genesis, that Abraham, Sarah, they dwelt in this territory, Ur of Chaldee, or Chaldee. I said Chaldee, but Chaldee. So was the ancient Egyptians, right? Was the ancient Egyptians Khazars or Negroes? Because when you understand the Khazars, right, this is where you get into the Turks. Because Turks, Khazars, and a world-renowned geneticist by the name of Aaron Elhike proved that the Ashkenazi Jewish community, they are descendants of Khazars. They are descendants of a Turkish people. But I know you have some out there, right, that are actually teaching and putting stuff out there like this.
So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany. So they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
Yeah, I had to give it a 3-piece and a side, and I have to give him his order to go. All right. So was the ancient Egyptians Khazars or Negro? Let's start with understanding the Arab invasion of Egypt. During the reign of Umar II, Caliph of the Arabs, Arab armies under the leadership of Amir ibn al-As invaded and conquered Egypt in 639 AD. And this is important for you to understand, because this is what you see in modern Egypt today. They are descendants of a Turkish people. There are descendants of those that invaded that whole territory. You know, this is why it made me feel some kind of way when you had those guys over there trying to go at who? Kevin Hart. They went after Kevin Hart for what? Saying that, the ancient Egyptians, for saying that ancient Egyptians were black per se. And so you had, I can't remember the guy's name. I think I have his video here. Let me see if I have his video here. This guy right here. Do I have it here? Yeah, this guy right here, who is a comedian, who's descendants of Arabs, but tried to put Kevin Hart in his place. This guy right here.
Now, the problem for me, it's not about color. It's not about white and black. This is a very reductive way to talk about things. This is the way that Americans talk about it. I'm very sorry. Like, I come from Egypt. Egypt has a very diverse color palette. People can look like me or they can look deeper skin tone like Anwar Sadat, who comes from a Nubian origin. It's not about black and white. It's not about black and white. It's not about black and white.
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just doesn't matter.
At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shemai was Egyptian. At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shemai was Egyptian. At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shemai was Egyptian.
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just.
So those are the guys that are quick to scream, it doesn't matter, especially when you start catching them with their own information. But yeah, the way it's going right now, right? Every ancient culture in Africa, not this Near East stuff, not this Middle East stuff, Northeast Africa, which is part of Africa, you'll see that they are literally whitewashing that entire region, the original people. All right. So again, let's get back into it. During the reign of Umar II, Caliph of the Arabs, Arab armies under the leadership of Amir ibn al-As invaded and conquered Egypt in 639 AD. Now, let me give you just a little source. I'm not going to go too deep with this, just to give you an understanding that the people that you see today over in Egypt, in that entire region, not just Egypt, but in that entire region, they are not the original people. All right. But this is coming from outlines of ancient Egyptian history. Right. And I'll drop this link, this source in the comment section in a second. But it says here, how often do we see in Eastern monarchies and even in European states a difference of origin between the ruling class to which the royal family belongs and the mass of the people? We need not leave Western Asia and Egypt, where we find who? Where we find their Turks ruling over nations to the race which they do not belong. Come on, family. That's a mic drop right here. Let me see if I can put this source inside the chat. Yeah, we're gonna have a couple of mic drops here. We're gonna drop a few microphones here. We're gonna break a few of them here tonight. All right. Let me see if I could put this in. All right, let me pull it out real quick. I'm going to drop this source. All right, let's drop this source right now. And family, though, you guys that are in the comment section, guess what, guys? Make a note of this. I'm helping you build up your library. I'm giving you ammunition when you're dealing with these different communities who are trying to tell you who you are, right? For those that may say or may believe or may prove that you are not connected to the ancient Israelites, but you are Egyptian. And guess what? There are racism that Egyptians, dark melanated Egyptians, are dealing with over there. All right. But here's some sources for you. Here's some sources that you can pull from. All right. So let me see here. All right. Let's get back into it. So here's a source, and I'm going to share another source. I source up, family. I don't believe in just saying, giving or blotting out information. I like to give the sources as well. All right. How often do we see in Eastern monarchies and even in European states, a difference of origin between the ruling class to which the royal family belongs and the mass of the people. We need not leave Western Asia and Egypt. We find there Turks ruling over nations to the race of which they do not belong, although they have adopted their religion in the same way as the Turks of Baghdad, who are Finns, now reign over Semites. Turanian kings may have led into Egypt and governed a population of mixed origin where the Semitic element was prevalent, if we consider the mixing up of races which took place in Mesopotamia in remote ages, the invasion which the country had to suffer, the repeated conflicts. All right. Is another source, the Journal of Cambrian Archaeological Association. Let's see what this says. Mr. Baldwin draws a marked distinction between the modern Mohammedan Semitic population of Arabia and their great Cushite Hamite or Ethiopian predecessors. The former, he says, are comparatively modern in Arabia. They have appropriated the reputation of the old race. Doesn't that sound like the Josephus source that I shared about how the Greeks were doing the same thing and have unduly occupied the chief attention of modern scholars? So again, the Ottomans, which are Turks, invaded Africa in 1534 and remained a ruling power in Africa for over for 4 centuries and established 5 separate administrations in Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, and Eritrea. Excuse me if I butchered the name. All right. Now, this is some proof. I'm giving you some additional proof. Right. This is Moses Nefertari. Right. You don't see this information here. You don't see this information. See, what you see is a 1819 construct or artwork that you see these colonizers have created. But you don't see this image. Come on, family. This is Nefertari, right? 18th dynasty. Come on, sisters. How many ancient cultures wear their hair like that? How many in the current culture today wear their hair like this? Come on, family. This is and guess what? It's not just the Israelite community, but it's dark melanated communities, period. When you go to different tribes of Africa, you'll see this the braids in our culture. Come on, family. But you know what? We're not going to just stop there, because some will say, nah, that's just one. But guess what? Let me give you another one. This is her assistant, excuse me, Dami Ray, who is nursemaid to Queen Ahmoses Nefertari. Guess what? You see in family, when you start dealing with and understanding these mummies and how the whole process of mummification with the chemicals or the materials that they use actually tend to straighten the hair. That's a fact. But guess what? Notice what you see here, right? You don't see you still see some beads up in here. You see some wool up in here. Look at those locks, because braids were also called locks. Look at these locks. But you know what? I'm not going to stop there. I'm not going to stop there. I want to continue to give some receipts here, right? Here's something that's in the British Museum right now. Come on now. This is an actual wig from the 18th dynasty that's in the museums over in the British Museum right now. Come on now. Come on now. You're not going to tell me that is from Elizabeth Taylor, someone looking like Elizabeth Taylor. Come on, family. This is all facts right here, giving you nothing but receipts right here. And let me read the caption here so you know that this is not me making this stuff up. Let me zoom in. Egyptian wig and wig box found in an Egyptian tomb. And above is a photograph of an Egyptian wig for a lady in the style of the 18th dynasty BC, 1400, and also a wig box made of a bash or writing reeds discovered in tombs of Thebes. the excellent state of preservation in which those two objects were found in. I can't see what that is. It's kind of blurred. Looked like Wonderthal. I can't tell what that word is. It's kind of blurred there. Actually, this entire text right here is blurred. All right. But this is what we don't hear inside the history books. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? Christianity would teach, and many Jewish scholars would teach, that Moses lived during what dynasty? The 18th dynasty. Even though I got other sources to prove differently, but the 18th dynasty. Let's just say if Moses lived through the 18th dynasty, that means that Moses would have looked like, guess what? The very people that's wearing these, this hair like wool. Even the wigs, hair like wool. Come on, family. Now let me pull up this real quick. I got to put this in here. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let me see. I think I could find this here. I want to put this image here. Let's see here. I want to put this in here real quick because I want to make sure you understand exactly what these nations that have hijacked that entire territory and all the different communities there, not just the Israelites. They hijacked the Egyptians. They hijacked, currently hijacking right now the Ethiopians. All right, let me see here. Let me see if it's this one right here, because I want to put this image in here, because this image will actually bring into play. Oh, here it is. Yep, I got it. Yeah. Thank you, Yah. Didn't have to waste a lot of time trying to find it. So I'm going to take this image, right? And let me put this over into this presentation. All right. All right. So I'm going to drop it on top of here. Actually, yeah, I'm going to drop it right here. I'm going to drop it right over this image right here. All right. Right. So, and I'm going here. See, this is what they want us to believe. This is what the church was trying to teach us about a Caucasian Messiah. This is what the Catholic Church, the Christians, the Catholics, same group, they were trying to push this lie right here that Christ looks like them, that the Messiah hid in Egypt, right? This is the lie that they were pushing to us. So I want this lie to be visual to you. They want to get you to believe that this is, in this image, that a Caucasian Christ fled to Egypt. But guess what? They see that this awakening, man, got so much steam. So guess what they have to do? They have to change the color of all the participants or the parties that connected to the Israelites. They got to change the color of the Egyptians. They got to change the color of the Babylonians. They got to change the skin complexion of the Chaldees. They got to change the skin complexion and trying to infiltrate the Ethiopians. All the different nations that was connected to Israel, guess what? Changing the identity of everyone around. See, this is what they're trying to push. This is what was planted in what is called the Middle East today, over in that territory. This was planted in that territory. This is why you see, many got these looks. Let me pull this in there, man. This is, all of us have these looks. And other nations are starting to have this look too. Like, wait a minute. You left looking like this, and now you came back looking like that. Come on, family. Come on, family. That's the lie that they've been pushing for centuries. And more people are waking up, not just from our community, but other communities as well. So they can't just change and hijack an identity of one community. They got to hijack the identity of everyone connected to them. All right. So let's continue. Here's another wig. Come on, family. Come on, fam. Look at the features. Look at the hair. Now, this wig on the right, that's because of where you see the straight, but you still see the locks at the tip. But this is because of the chemicals that the Egyptians used that caused this wig to basically go from curly, woolly locks to looking like it's straight hair. I mean, this is a fact. This is a fact. But guess what? Let's not stop here. Let's not stop here, family. Let's keep this momentum going. We have over 1,000 people inside the chat right now. And for those that have just joining us, let's hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Right. Matter of fact, it looks like I may need to slow this chat down. Let me see if I can slow this chat down. Because that chat is moving. All right, let's see if I can slow it down. I can't slow it down. I have to look it up. But before we continue, because man, that chat was moving. I can't even keep up. Let's give some shout outs real quick to all those that have contributed thus far. I want to say shout outs to Swag Fan 100. Thank you for the contributions tonight. Just wanted to donate a little something. Thank you for waking us up. Really appreciate you, Swag Fan 100. Thank you for the love and support and family. Let's show Swag Fan 100 some love here tonight. Let's do the same thing for DeWitt Patton. Just wanted to bless you, Pastor Kelly, for helping this awakening. Thank you for the years of support and family. Let's show DeWitt Patton some love here. And also let's show some love for Marcia Hamilton. Thank you for the super sticker. Also, who else do we have here? Veronica Brown. Thank you for the contribution. Let's show some love to Veronica Brown. And we got the elder in the building. We got the elder in the building. Bithia Batya Yisrael holding it down in California. Thawadah to you as well. And for those that don't know ancient Hebrew, Thawadah, it means thank you, right? Thawadah, thank you. All right. But thank you, elder. Really appreciate you and family. Let's show all the people here that contributed tonight. Let's show them some love. And for those that are joining us, just joined us right now. I see right now we have over almost 485 likes. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up. We should easily get those likes up to 600. Our goal is 600 tonight. Let's get those likes up to 600. So that way we can break the algorithm. Hallelujah. We got more information to share here. We got information that's more important or just as prevalent, or if not more prevalent than what we saw on Club Shay Shay. Right, we gave them receipts on our heritage, and also I want to give shout outs to before I get start back again. 123J, keep up the good work. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it, and family. Let's show some love for 123J. All right, so family, let's go ahead and continue here. All right, so was Cleopatra part African? You know, that was the discussion. Remember when Jada Pinkett Smith came out with that documentary on Netflix, and guess what? That same comedian and others, man, they drug her through the coal. You know what I mean? They raked her through the coal. But we're gonna give clarity on exactly like the Shakespeares and the poets and the educators of that time, what they said about Cleopatra. Was Cleopatra part African? Because, you know, this is that thing, you know, when they want to make sure that they remove things out of our, you know, from having any association with our community. You know, that's where they created that term, that Middle Eastern. You know, Christ was not black. And we know he wasn't white, but he was Middle Eastern, or he was olive. Right? Come on, family. That is their way of trying to do anything but have Cleopatra or any anything or anyone, right, that have culture, that have a civilization, right, well before theirs, they want to hijack it and do anything that they can to remove them from any association with dark melanated people that look like you and I. So was Cleopatra part African? See, this is where they come up with the term olive or Middle Eastern. But we're going to drop it right here. We're going to break a few more microphones here. So let's knock this notion down. Are there any writings that support her skin complexion? Let's start with the LA Times archives arguing the race of the most fascinating figure in history. This is May 14th, 1989. You see a lot changed since May 14th, 1989. But let's see what it says here. Until the rise of the doctrine of white superiority, Cleopatra VII was generally pictured as colored. Shakespeare and Antony and Cleopatra calls her tawny. In his day, mulattoes were called tawny Moors. In Act 1, Scene 5, Cleopatra calls herself black. Think on me that am with Phoebus, armorist, pitch black. But you know what? Let's take this a step further. You know, it says here, the 16th century. Now, notice what it says here. C.W. King in Antique Gems and Rings, 1872 says, this is 1872, right? Not 2022. 1872 says this, as late as the 16th century, Cleopatra was regarded as a Negro woman. Come on, family. Let me say that again. Let me say that a bit again. It says, let me read that again. Let me go back here. It says this, as late as the 16th century, as late as the 16th century, it says here that Cleopatra was regarded as a
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Strong's G 3526. Niger.
Could you use it in a sentence?
Real nigga roll call. Niggas bleed. Jigga my nigga. Niggas for life. Real niggas don't die. Shame on a nigga. Suck a nigga. Ain't no nigga.
Negus.
And would you say the word loudly for the judges?
Nigga.
Negus.
One more time.
Nigger.
Negus.
Nigga.
all right. So come on, family. So we see here, it says here, let me read it again. As late as the 16th century, Cleopatra was regarded as a Negro woman. Plutarch describes her as a brown-skinned girl with crinkly hair and voluptuous figure. So it's saying that she was shapely, and her hair, when it says crinkly, we know our hair, right? Most anthropologists accept that populations with extensive contacts interbreed, and they do not deny that some historians have claimed for their own races the achievement of prominent figures of other races. Now, this is exactly what Josephus said about the Greeks. This is exactly what Josephus said about the Greeks. And we just read a source saying the same thing about the Turks that are occupying that whole territory, what is now called the Middle East. Some refer to it as the Levant, where actually all of that is really Africa. It says, and they do not deny that some historians have claimed for their own races the achievements of prominent figures of other races. The Greeks performed such a transformation on Aesop, the black Ethiopian slave, and his fables. Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy the Seventh, shows pronounced Negro traits. Wait a minute. See, according to this source, it's saying that even Ptolemy showed pronounced Negro traits. But anyway, as for Cleopatra the seventh, there is no bona fide portrait of her. Hollywood and Miss Taylor notwithstanding. You know, Elizabeth Taylor, you know, that's the image that they've been running around with. All right. But again, key quote from this article: as late as the 16th century, Cleopatra was regarded as a Negro. But let's not stop there. Let's go to antique gems and rings. Since the article made reference to it, let's go to the directly to the source. Here's that source. Page 326. This is what it says. The same age was a little later extremely fruitful in heads of Negroes and also Negresses. Now, when it said Negroes, this is referring to men. And when you see Negresses, this is referring to the women. The latter often in the character of Cleopatra holding to her breast the asp. There is reason to believe that some of the latter are intended to commemorate the renowned black concubine of Clement VII, the mother of Alessandro. Excuse me if I butcher the name, but anyway. So we're seeing in the source, they are referring to Cleopatra as being dark, being a dark melanated woman, being a Negro or a Negress. But we're not going to stop there. We're not going to stop there. We're going to break some mics tonight. Let's go to the play, right? Antony and Cleopatra by Shakespeare. Let's go here. Let's see what it says. Anthony or Antony, but anyway, let's go here. This is coming from scene 1, or act 1, scene 1, right? And this is Philo. This is what he's saying. Nay, but this dotage of our generals overflows the measure those his goodly eyes that o'ers the files and musters of the war. But it goes on to say here, have glowed like plates on plated Mars, now been, now turned. Now I'm not an actor, right? The office and devotion of their view upon a tawny, his captain's heart. Wait a minute, we see tawny, didn't it? It says, which in the scuffles of great fights hath burst the buckles on his breast. But let's see here, it says tawny. But let's go to the footnotes here too. Let's go to the footnotes because we want to see what tawny is. Let's go to the exact footnotes of this play itself. Let's see what they say in the footnotes here, right? Tawny, front, dark countenance. Wait a minute. Let me zoom this in, and I'm going to drop this link inside the comment section so you guys have some sources. Notice what it says here. Tawny, front, dark countenance. Cleopatra was a Greek, but she is usually represented as darker skin, right? Let me put this link in the comment section for you guys. Let me see here. I'm showing sources. Family, we breaking mics tonight. We already done broke a few thus far. So we're gonna break some additional mics. So here's the link. All right. Let me drop this inside the chat. All right, here's another source. All right, here's another source. All right. So this is what I'm reading from. So you guys can hold me honest, vetting the sources that I share. So here's the explanatory notes for Act 1, Scene 1. And notice what it says. Tawny front, dark countenance. Cleopatra was a Greek, but she is usually represented as darker skin. And this is what I read right here in the back. Come on, family. We have sources upon sources. So Cleopatra, up until the 16th century, was referred to as and described as being a dark-skinned woman. But let's go to the Webster's Complete Dictionary of the English Language, 1886. Let's see what it says about tawny. right? Notice what it says here. Person who are sunburnt, but we know that's not sunburn, but it says as a tawny, Moor, or Spaniard. Come on, family. Come on, family. We see of a dull yellowish brown color, like things tanned, or person who are sunburnt. That's the part we want to highlight. As a tawny Moor or Spaniard. Wait a minute. So saying the Moors were dark skin, saying the Spaniards were dark skin. That means that the Sephardic, that they call the Sephardi, they use the term Jews. Guess what, family? They would have been dark skinned as well. Speaking of that, since we mentioned Sephardics, let me play a quick clip for you guys.
I'm so glad you're here because you can bring great clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered because they went west?
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
One of them.
I know that.
Because, you know, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Wow.
And DNA testing is a factor in all this now.
Come on, family. We're dropping sources. You heard with your own ears. The brother, the pastor, being referred to as a Sephardic Jew, and gave history about the Sephardic Jews in Jamaica, looking like him, right? Looking like us. All right. But I know, you know how it goes, family. No matter how much of this information we give, no matter how much truth we give, you know how it goes, family. There's still going to be people that's just going to default to this.
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just.
You know, they're gonna default to the it just doesn't matter. But you know what? But we're not going to stop here. Let's go to scripture. You know, I got to put a little scripture up here because I know we have some Christians that are watching that are you know, inquiring about what's going on. You know, what's this awakening about? What's being shared? What's true and what's not true? Well, let me give you another source. Let's go to Exodus chapter 1, verse 7. Right? This is Exodus chapter 1. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Wait a minute. So we have, I know we have some from the conscious community, you know, that are bashing the scriptures, you know, trying to get our brothers and sisters to embrace the Kemet doctrine, in which many of them don't even believe themselves. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But let's see the scripture, and I'm going to show you a source here. So right now it says in this scripture, it makes it clear in the land of Goshen that they dwelt at, it's saying that the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. All right. I know I got some Christians watching. I'm going to give you some sources that you could go and ask your pastor about. So who are those slaves? Who are those slaves? Who are those slaves that scattered all through the land that Exodus chapter 1, verse 7 just stated? Guess what? Those slaves were Negroes. Let me say that again. Those slaves, y'all know, those slaves were Negroes. Those slaves were, and I got to pull it out. Those slaves were
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Strong's G 3526. Niger.
All right. Those slaves were Negroes. All right. And I'm going to show you how Negroes connect to the word that you just heard. Right. But let's go to Crania Aegyptica, Samuel George Morton. Right. page 66. This is coming back. This is back in 1844. Some of you guys know this source, but this is for those that haven't heard this before, don't know this information, or you may even be part of other communities, but just don't know this information. Guess what he says? He's a cranium expert, right? Over 700 craniums that he examined. If it will be allowable to make these data the basis of calculations for the past 35 centuries, it will follow that upwards of 10 millions of Negroes have been brought as bondsmen into Egypt during that period. Wait a minute. He's saying tens of millions of Negroes have been brought as bondsmen. In other words, slaves. Yes, there were slaves in Egypt, contrary to what the conscious community will try to teach you guys. They want to rail on, hey, the Bible talk about slavery. Come on, let's talk about slavery within the Egyptian culture. Come on, family. It's documented that the Egyptians had slaves. So if it be allowable to make these data the basis of calculation for the past 35 centuries, it will follow that upwards of 10 millions of Negroes have been brought as bondsmen into Egypt during that period. The vast influx of Negroes into the Valley of the Nile must necessarily have left its impressions on the physical traits of the Egyptians themselves in modern times, as seen in the Copts and in more distant periods, as proved by the Negroid heads, in which both the configuration and expression are too obvious to be mistaken. But it may be inquired, how does it happen that Negroes or their descendants should be found in the catacombs if they constitute a menial or slave caste in Egypt? So they're making it clear. Slave caste, that's slavery, right? Which, we already proved, and I got more facts than I can prove, but we already know that the ancient Egyptians, look, they were dark melanated people. They were of a Negroid affinity, if you want to use the terms that many archaeologists will use. But let's go back here. Let me show you this one more time. This scientist who was shocked at his discovery, right? He wasn't anticipating, a dark melanated Egyptian leader being found. Look at the shock. Listen to him.
But the CT scan has one more surprise for Alejandro. Shammai's ethnicity.
Well, they have just told me that Shammai has a Nubian feature, which means that their ruling family was probably Nubian, and that was unexpected.
Examining Shammai's anatomy closely, the thickness of his bones and the shape of his nasal cavity, the anthropologists think he was a black African, likely from neighboring Nubia. A huge revelation that challenges the prevailing image of the Egyptian ruling class.
We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. And in this sense, Shammai is representing the society of the frontier, in which different ethnic groups were mixed. At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shammai was Egyptian. At the end,
it just doesn't matter. 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 It just doesn't matter.
So you heard the slyness of that professor, because he also referred to the Egyptians of being, in a nutshell, multiple races, multicultural, basically. That's the same thing we hear about other communities like the Jewish community. Say that they are multiracial, multi-ethnical, multicultural. Come on, family. I'm going to drop some videos over the next couple of days that's going to give you an actual visual of who's who. All right. But anyway, he also mentioned the nasal cavity, the cranium. You see that here. This is a cranium expert, and we just saw someone, right? A doctor, someone who specializes in that area, mentioned the cranium, mentioned the navel cavity. Family, you don't always need DNA. You can use the cranium. That's what they were using as this Dr. Samuel George Morton used. He used cranium. But you can see, man, that guy was messed up. That doctor, he was messed up. So, but it may be inquired, how does it happen that Negroes or their descendants should be found in the catacombs if they constituted a Nile or slave caste in Egypt? Notice this here. Here's the mic drop. We want to break another mic. Negroes were numerous in Egypt, but their social position in ancient times was the same that it now is, that of servants and slaves. That's another mic drop right there. So we just proven that, guess what? Those Israelites that was enslaved, guess what? They were Negroes and they were us. They were our ancestors. But we're not just going to stop here, family. We're breaking up more mics here. So are there any footage of the original people of of Egypt? You know what? I was trying to put some in tonight, but my Adobe Premiere was acting up. It was I gotta reload it because it was really locking up on me, taking longer, rather not locking up, but taking longer to encode my clips. But I'm going to drop some footage here. I'm going to drop some footage over the next couple of days. So hit the notification button just to make sure that when I drop it, you guys can view it. All right. But was the ancient Ethiopians Khazars or Negroes? We already proved that the Chaldees were Negroes. We already proved that the Egyptians were Negroes. Right now, we got to deal with the Ethiopians, right? We got to deal with the Ethiopians. So we just knocking all of this stuff down, family. We're knocking all of this stuff down. We're gonna cast down that stronghold that's saying that saying that they have towards our community. If you ever want to hide something from the Negro, put it in the book. Well, guess what? Like my grandmother would say, the devil is a liar, because guess what? We're going into their books. We're going into their books, and that's the problem. That's why they're jacking up the prices of these books, because now we're going into their sources. All right. But anyway, let's get into it. Was the ancient Ethiopians Khazars or Negro? We already know the answer, but let's now deal with the meaning of this word Negro, because we dealt with some historical information that I gave you about the Egyptians, about the Chaldees. Let's gave you facts about Negroes, us, our craniums being comparable to those that was enslaved in Egypt, that the cranium expert said was numerous all through the land of Egypt. And we just read a Bible passage that said that the Israelites were numerous all in the land. So what is the meaning of this word Negro? Let's deal with Negro. Let's go to the etymological dictionary definition of Negro, right? It says this: member of a black-skinned race of Africa. And then it says from Spanish, Portuguese, Negro. All right. Let me do something real quick because I know that, let's see here. Matter of fact, let me play a quick clip. I know my cousin wanted to come on. I'm getting to an area that he may want to jump in, especially. Let me play a quick clip. Let me see if I can contact my cousin real quick to see if he still want to come on. And then if not, we'll continue to progress in this lesson. So let me play a clip here. Where's the clip that I want to play? All right. Let's play this clip right here. All right, let's play that clip again about the scientists being shocked. Let's play that one again.
But the CT scan has one more surprise for Alejandro. Shammai's ethnicity.
Well, they have just told me that Shammai had a Nubian feature, which means that their ruling family was probably Nubian, and that was unexpected.
Examining Shammai's anatomy closely, the thickness of his bones and the shape of his nasal cavity, the anthropologists think he was a black African, likely from neighboring Nubia. A huge revelation that challenges the prevailing image of the Egyptian ruling class.
We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always thought the ancient Egyptian elites were Mediterranean type. We always.
All right, so let's get back into it. I just wanted to reach out to him, and if he jumps in, if my cousin Benaiah Israel, if he jumps in, family, just post it inside the comment section so that way I can drop the link for him to jump on. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's deal with this word Negro again. Negro, 15th century, right? The 1550s. It says member of a black-skinned race of Africa. Then we see Portuguese, Negro, black, right? We see that it means black, dark, sable, dusky. But notice this here. It also means gloomy, unlucky, bad, wicked. See, this is where you start understanding or get the understanding of the word interpolation. This is how they hijacked words that had honorable meaning to it, and they added or interpolated, the language, the culture, the grammar, and began to insert negative meanings behind it. As you see, Negro, gloomy, unlucky, bad, wicked, right? The Latin word also was applied to the black people of Africa. And it says, but the usual terms were Ethiops and Afar. Now, Afar, guess what? You'll see also that is the Shemitic word, Afar or Afar, right? And Josephus writes about it in some of the, what they would call it, the older historians wrote about this here. But nevertheless, we see Ethiops and we see Afar. All right. It says as an adjective from 1590s used with a capital N became general early 20th century in reference to U.S. citizens of African descent. But because of its perceived association with white imposed attitudes and roles, the word was ousted late 1960s in this sense by black. I want to say this, family. I'd rather be called a Negro than to be called an African American. African American is so generic because why? A Caucasian could claim the title of an African American. Do you know that there's certain things, especially when you start dealing with reparations, many of us are bracing these terms like colored and African American. No, there are reparations that's owed to the Negro. See, African American, how can a Caucasian be considered an African American? Well, be born in Africa and become a United States citizen, and they will become what? An African American. No, call me a Negro. Call me a Negro. Call me a Negro. I'd rather be called a Negro than an African American. I'd rather be called a Negro than to be called black. That's right, Elon Musk. Appreciate it, J123. Elon Musk, right? Prime example. Let me put him up here. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's continue. All right. Let's continue. So the etymology dictionary definition of Ethiops, since we dealt with Negroes and it pointed us to Ethiops, let's see what Ethiops mean. It says from the Latin, Ethiops, in other words, Ethiopian Negro. So Negro, the word Negro pointed us over to Aethiops, right? And Aethiops means Ethiopian. It means Negro. We know Aethiop is a combination of two words, right? Now, when we get down here, it says long supposed in popular etymology to be from Athen to burn plus ops face, excuse me. So Athen to burn ops face, excuse me, voice dry. So Aethiop is a combination of two words. And basically that word means burn face. Wait a minute. Burn face? Blackface? Come on, family. That's the original word for blackface. Aethiop. Burn face. Fiery looking. Later, sunburned. Yes, Aethiop is the original word for blackface. Atlantic actually come from the word where you see the Atlantic Ocean, Atlantic, right? Eighth, ether. Anyway, so Ethiop again, it says Ethiopian Negro, combination of two words, to burn, ops, face. So Ethiop or Ethiop means burn face. All right, so let's go to this word ether, right? Since I mentioned it, it says ether, upper region of space. Wait a minute. So when we look in space and we see that darkness up there, but wait a minute, we going into the ether? The upper pure bright air sky firmament. Notice what you see here, Greek aether, eighth ear, upper air. But notice what it says here, to burn, shine. Ether, burn, shine, to burn or shine. And it comes from the Proto, and it also points us to the Proto-Indo-European word eight, which means burn. All right. This tells you, man, just how educated the Ethiopians, matter of fact, all the dark melanated cultures were, or still is. But let's go to the Oxford Compact Dictionary definition of Aethiops. Let's see what it says here. Right? Let me zoom this in so you guys can read this. Man, it was I performed miracles here, actually screen printing this right here, because I have this book, these two big books, and up here you need a magnifying glass. I had to get a special magnifying glass to zoom it in. Then I had to put a camera over it to make sure I can at least get these screen prints. It's so tiny. It's like microfilm, so to speak, man. That's how tiny the text is. So this is a miracle in itself. But it tells us Aethiop, right? Notice what we see here, Ethiopian, but we see Ethiops, generally Ethiopis. All right. So this is giving us some additional information on this word, commonly believed to be to burn plus face, just what we read, and to mean primarily burnt face. In other words, black face. All right. Fiery looking, later sunburned, same or cognate elements. All right. Let's see here. The formation is, however, not clear, and some have supposed the word to be an etymologizing, excuse me, if I'm butchering the word, corrupt of a foreign ethnic name. Not getting into all of that, but notice what it says here. Let's see here. What other thing we want to highlight? This is what I want to highlight here, right? Ethiopian, hence, usually a person with a black skin, a black or more. We just highlighted these definitions when we dealt with Aethiops, and also when we dealt with tawny. Remember, it referred to black or more. So all of these words, as you see, is interchangeable. But then it has a phrase here. Phrase, to wash and or the Ethiop white. In other words, to attempt the impossible. So what this is saying is it gives a phrase here trying to what? Take a dark-skinned Ethiopian or Negro and trying to make them white, trying to wash the black off of them, so to speak. So it says here to attempt the impossible. Doesn't that sound familiar? Trying to take this dark skin off That is like attempting to do the impossible, even though people, unfortunately, our brothers and sisters are doing this bleaching thing now. But to wash and or the Ethiop white to attempt the impossible. Why are they saying that? Why does this have a ring to it? Well, when we go to Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23, notice what it says here. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? That's why, because that's the impossible. Up until now, they do this bleaching thing, but you still see the melanin, the Negroid features, the lips, doesn't change any of that, even though you got surgeries now. So can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? So a person's dark skin and a leopard spot are fixed features of their beings. That's why it has that entry inside that dictionary. All right. I know I'm going to little geek mode, family. That's what I do. I'm going geek mode here. All right. But I'm about to drop a hammer here. So a dark-skinned person cannot make his skin lighter, nor can a leopard change its spots. That's what it's saying here. Unfortunately, you got bleaching and all kinds of stuff nowadays. All right. So why am I pointing all of this out? Right. We're still dealing with that word Negro. We're dealing with that word Ethiops. We dealt with the word tawny. Now let's look at a map here. Right. This is a Princeton map. Right. As you see here, Princeton University, 1710 map. Right. But actually, this was 1732. Let's see what that, matter of fact, let's go back here. Right. No, I ain't going to get into it. Let's go here. This is a territory on this map, Negro land. That's right, family, Negro land. Now, I know some of you guys that may be watching this for the first time, are probably surprised, like, wait a minute, Negro land? Yes, family. Now, I want to say this to brothers and sisters. This is not complimentary. This is not a complimentary to our community. This is just basically telling the colonizers where the Negroes are, a high concentration, so to speak, of Negroes that they could go and snatch. So I want to make sure you guys understand, just like where they would call certain areas, like let's just say Texas, cattle country or whatever, they have terms for a certain stock. That's right, Wayne Robinson, Ivory Coast. All right. So Negro land is not complimentary, but there's some things that the reason why I'm pulling this up, Negro land. So, but the key is Negro land. All right. Right. Another interesting thing I want to highlight on this map is here we see Wida or Wida, which you get the word Judah, Huida, Judah, right? Portuguese for Wida, which the English pronunciation of it is Judah, right? You'll see some other Israelite names here, but I just wanted to show how, just really hone in on this right here. But really, I want to hone in on this writing up at the top here. And I'm going to read this text here real quick. It says here, I am credibly informed that a country about 100 leagues north of the coast of Guinea is inhabited by white men, or at least a different kind of people from the blacks, who wear clothes and have use of letters, make silk, and that some of them keep the Christian Shabbat. So this is not saying that they are Caucasians far as white skin. This is saying that their features, like their nose, their eyes, aquiline, that's where you get the term aquiline eyes, from. So that's what this is actually saying. But the key is Negro land. We see the Gold Coast. And I want to read this text on here about what they said about the Negroes, right? And this, especially in the territories. All right. So let's go back to, let's go to this word Negro again. Let's go back to Negro. All right. Let's bring it back here to Negro, right? Meaning African-American vernacular, the English language as spoken by U.S. blacks. All right. And it's just giving us some additional information. Negri, borrowing from Spanish, Negro. Older English words were more and black or more. A Middle English word for what? Ethiopian. We have that again. But notice what you see here. Perhaps also a Negro generally was blue men as blue men. Wait a minute. So that's where you get the word Indian. Indian comes from the word indigo. And what color is indigo? Come on, family. Words have meaning. Indigo. Indigo, dark, blue, black. Wait a minute. That's going back to the ripe olive, because the ripe olive is blue, black. The unripe olive is green. Come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. All right, let me see here. All right. I'm just seeing some stuff here. All right, because I know how some of these people come up in here. Let me see here. All right, let me just, because I'm not going to, and like I said, moderators, if you guys see people acting crazy or being a distraction, just kick them out. All right. All right, let's keep it going, family. I'm going somewhere with this. So we see blue men or blue man, blue, and as you see here, blue man. Like I said, India or Indian rather, from that word indigo. Anyway, so Middle English word for Ethiopian, Negro. So Negro had, and I want to make this clear, and this is one of the reasons why there's some negative feelings about the word Negro, especially from our older generation, like my grandmother who passed away, didn't want to be called the Negro. And this is why. Negro had an unique meaning in the United States. Let's see what Negro meant in the United States real quick. This is the Negro Law of South Carolina, John Belton O'Neill, 1848, page 9. This is what it says, right? Section 1, right? Declares all Negroes and Indians, right, to be slaves, the offsprings to follow the condition of the mother, and that such slaves are chattel, in other words, cattle, personal. Right? Section 2, under the provision, it has been uniformly held that color is prima facie evidence that the party bearing the color of a Negro, mulatto, or mestizo is a slave. But the same prima facie result does not follow from the Indian color. Section 4, this is key. The term Negro is confined to slave Africans. In other words, the ancient Berbers and their descendants. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as the Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, such as the Lascars. So in this country, that term Negro was synonymous or interchangeable with slave. All right. So is Negro interchangeable or connected to, some would say, Niger, Niger? Is this connected? See, I'm bringing this all full circle, family. We going somewhere here. But in the meantime, before I get there, let me give some shout outs here. I see some contributions here I need to give thanks to. I want to start off by Malak Yashar Yahakanan. I want to say thank you, my brother. Thank you, Elder, for the love and support. Thank you, Pastor, for all the lessons that you have taught over the years. This one is special to me. I thank Yah for you. Appreciate it, Elder. Thank you for the love and support. And thank you for the encouraging words. And family, let's show Elder some love here tonight. All right. Thank you again. And then also we have author Candace Phillips Anderson. Thank you for the contribution here. Looks like she has a book called Brutality, the Third Eye. But thank you for the love and support tonight. And let's give the author Candace Phillips Anderson some love here tonight. Let's show her some love. And then we have Mona Mitch. Great work, Pastor Kelly. Really thank you for the love and support. Let's show Mona Mitch some love. Then we have 123J. Keep up the good work. Really appreciate the love and support and the encouragement. So thank everyone for the love and support and your contributions tonight. Definitely, I do not take it for granted. And I really appreciate the love and support and the words of encouragement. All right. So getting back here, is Negro interchangeable or connected to nigger? Or some of you guys would say Niger. Like, because I know some of you guys just from hearing this word, because it's been, alluding to was something negative the way that it's been presented. So is Negro interchangeable or connected to
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger. Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
All right. So is Negro interchangeable or connected to
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
All right. So let's answer this question. Is Negro interchangeable or connected to this to Niger, nigger? Let's see. And that's the proper pronunciation of it, not Niger. All right. In the online etymology dictionary, we see a connection between nigger and Negro. The online etymology dictionary compared the the online etymology dictionary definition compared to the Barnhart Concise Dictionary etymology. So we're going to do a comparison here, not on the word Jew, but Negro. That should be Negro here, but not Jew. And this is a great book. I encourage you guys to purchase this book. All right. And not just be completely dependent on online sources. All right. So, Negro, black-skinned person from Africa or of African descent. And we see here again, borrowed from Spanish or Portuguese, says Negro, black, Negro. From Latin, that we see that word, Niger or nigger, right? Let me play it one more time. We see the word
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
Right. So that's the proper pronunciation of this word. I know some of you guys probably cringing at the pronunciation of it, but you just heard with your own ears. That is an online source that you could go to. That is a Greek word that's in the Bible. They have you pronounce it Niger, but that's not the proper pronunciation. Okay. But we see that Latin word that I just pointed out, Niger, nigger, black. And when we see that word, let's go to Acts. We got to get some, you guys know I can't go too long without bringing scripture into this. All right. So let's go to Acts chapter 13, verse 1 and see how this word is applied. Notice what you see here, right? And you guys, pull out your Bible. Don't just trust what I'm saying here. Pull out your Bible. Vet these sources that I'm bringing up here. All right. So we see here, right? This is coming from Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called, as you see that word, right? You were taught to pronounce it Niger, but here's the proper pronunciation of that word.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger. Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
All right, so that's the Strong's G. G. In other words, Greek concordance, and that's from the Blue Letter Bible. You can go there right now, right? And you can hear that for yourself. You can hear that with your own ears. All right. So guess what? We've been taught that word is a derogative word, but that word is really not a derogative word. Now, of course, don't go to your place of employment, walking up into jobs, putting that out there. You know what I mean? Why? Because you know the culture that we live in. You'll get canceled quick. All right. But I want to make sure you understand just how the oppressors, these colonizers, corrupt everything. Keywords. That makes us not want to what? Go near these words. And I'm going to prove to you that the more you understand this word the more you understand your identity. Right? The more you understand your heritage, the more you understand just how calculated they were with their with how they divided our community. Now, there were in the church that was at Antioch, right? I'm reading it again for those that are following me here. Got your sources out. It says certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas, and it also says, and Simeon, that was also called
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
And Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul, or Tetrarch, excuse me. All right. So is Negro interchangeable with, as I just pointed out, nigger? Is it interchangeable with it? I'm going to prove to you that it is. What is the proper pronunciation? I just gave it to you. All right. But this is, again, for you guys that want to know the exact entry, Strong's G 3526. And you see it here. And notice what it says here. This is key. Notice what it says here. Nigger. Let me play the audio while this is on your screen on the proper pronunciation.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
All right. That is not my voice. That is not anything that any sounds or any voiceovers that I've done. This is coming directly from the Blue Letter Bible. And if you go to the Blue Letter Bible online and you do a search for this entry, Strong's G 3526, then you'll hear the actual pronunciation of this word. Take that to Bible study. Take that to your Bible study. All right. So let's go back to the etymological dictionary definition of this word nigger. Right? Right? Still going here. We had Negro. Now we're going to go to Negro. Nigger. We dealt with Negro. We dealt with Ethiops. We dealt with Tawny. We dealt with a few words that's all interchangeable. But notice what it says here. African nation named after the river, but we've been taught to say Niger. Mentioned by that name, 1520s by Leo Africanus. Probably an alteration by influence of Latin. And notice what you see here. You see that same word again. Let me say that again. You see that same word again.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
You see that same word. And it's, as you see here, black. All right. So let's go to the Greek dictionary definition of this word, which I've been playing it, right? But notice what it says here, right? Latin origin. We see black. We see nigger, a Christian. We see here the surname of the prophet Simeon. We see this word is equivalent to black. But I'm going to prove to you that it's not just black or dark melanated, but there's authority that goes with this word too. Still, and I'm going to take it right back to Ethiopia in a second. So we are to believe that Niger, which means black in Latin, is, or nigger, which means black in Latin, is supposedly a surname for a so-called non-blood descendant of Israel who was an actual Israelite, right? This is an Israelite name. Simeon is an Israelite name. Many within the church will have you believe that he was, like they used the term Gentile, or born of other nations. No, he was an Israelite, and he had the title nigger. Clean it up, Pastor. Here we go. Let's go to Simeon to prove that his name was a Hebrew name. Notice what it says here. Simeon, Shimon, that's where, telling us the Hebrew, the name of 5 Israelites. And we see Simeon, we see Simon. So Simeon also, right, this Greek name is also transliterated over to Simon. and it means hearkening, right? But look at what it lists here. The second son of Jacob by Leah, one of Abraham's descendants, one who took the infant Jesus in his arms in the temple, a teacher at the church of Antioch. Wait a minute. So that's dealing with Simeon, because we're dealing with Acts. We're dealing with Antioch. He wasn't just a teacher. He was the leader of the assembly out there in Antioch. Then we see the original name of Peter. So these are Israelites. So Simeon is an Israelite. Come on, family. We just threw another mic down, because in the church, they would tell you that Simeon is black. Even though I don't like to use the word black, but just for the sake of teaching, we're going to use it for tonight. Right? I don't like to use these racial, social constructs created to have us hold on to a construct and flee from our identity. So guess what? I just proved to you that Simeon, the nigger, he is a dark melanated person. He's an Israelite. Come on, family. I've given you so many sources. Simeon is a Hebrew Israelite name. Again, so everywhere in the text, the name Simeon is used, where Simeon is used, it's referring to an Israelite. Excuse the typo. Was Simeon an Israelite? Guess what? I'm going to prove it with scripture. Was Simeon a proselyte? Absolutely not. Key verse that proves that Simeon was an Israelite. Here it is. Let me give you a key verse. Acts chapter 13, starting at verse 42. Notice what it says. And when the Judeans were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles, in other words, other nations, non-blood descendants of Israel, besought that these words might be preached to them the next Shabbat. Verse 43. Now, when the congregation was broken up, many of the Judeans and religious proselytes followed Paul. Proselytes, that's converts, follow Paul, right? That's those that are non-blood descendant of Israel who took on believing in the Most High, believing in the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, anyway, I'll just leave it at that. So it says, religious proselytes followed Paul and Barnabas, who, speaking to them, persuaded them to continue in the grace of Yahweh. Verse 44. And the next Shabbat, they came almost the whole city together to hear the word of Yahweh. So it was the non-blood descendants coming to the Mashkan, the assembly, the temple, asking to be taught on the Shabbat. Now, verse 1 says, Barnabas, Simeon, Lucius, and Manaen were prophets and teachers. So we saw 4 names listed there. So now I have to prove to you that all 4 of them are Israelites. Well, let's do it. We proved that Simeon is a Hebrew name, but what about the others? Here it is. Are there any other proof that Barnabas, Simeon, Lucius, and Manaen were Israelites? Yep. Let's start with Barnabas. Acts chapter 4, verse 36. Notice what it says. And Joseph, who by the apostles were surnamed Barnabas, which is being interpreted the son of consolation, a Levite. So we see that Barnabas was a Levite and of the country of Cyprus. So we see that Barnabas is a Levite. We just proved it just that quick. Can we prove that Lucius of Cyrene was an Israelite? Well, let's go to Acts chapter 2, verse 5. And there dwelling at Jerusalem, Judeans, devout men of every nation. This is dealing with, and we're focusing on the Israelites under heaven. Now, when this noise, so this is saying all the devout men, these are all the Israelites coming from from different territories. When you read the entire chapter 2, I'm not going to go into it. This is in the background here. This is what, when we look at verse 5, it says, in their dwelling, and I think I have it here. Yeah. So in the scripture it says Jews, but I have Judeans here because I just don't like that construct because of the deception behind it. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Judeans, devout men. So it's saying that this is Israelites. This is descendants of Judah. This is descendants of what you call the remnant of Jerusalem, which is all 12 tribes, right? Out of every nation under heaven. So they coming from all over the place. Now, when this noise was abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded because that every man heard them speak in his own language, right? So let's skip down to verse 7, right? Let's see here. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not these which speak Galileans or Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born? So these are some of the names here: Parthians, Medes, Elamites, the dwellers of Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia. But let's get down to here. This is what I want to get to. And in the parts of Libya about Cyrene. So we see that there's Israelites here, but then it says, and strangers of Rome, right? In other words, non-blood descendants of Israel, Judeans, and proselytes. So in the parts of Libya, and it says about Cyrene. All right, let's see what Cyrene is. It says there's so here, another key Israelite man from this territory. So when we go to Matthew chapter 27, verse 32, let me show you somebody else that's from the same territory. That's an Israelite. Matthew chapter 27, verse 32. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene. Look at his name, Simon, which is synonymous to Simeon, an Israelite. Come on, family, just that easy. So Barnabas was from Cyprus and Lucius was from Cyrene. So are there any other proof that there were Israelites in Cyprus? Yeah. Let's go to Acts chapter 11, verse 19. These are all of these guys are niggers, right? Or should I say Negroes? Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenice, Cyprus, and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto Judah only. Wait a minute. So it's telling us that Stephen went out only to teach to who? Cyprus. And it's saying there that it was only Judah that was there. It was only Israelites that were there. These territories, they weren't going out to non-blood descendants of Israel. It says Stephen traveled as far as Phoenice, Cyprus, Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto Judah only. Now, of course, yours are going to say Jew in this word. Let me go back here. But it's saying here that Stephen only went out to preach to the Judah, to the Israelites, not to all these other nations. See, this is what the church would not teach you here. Man, let me give shout outs to my buddy Moxie, man. This is my buddy right here. Family, if you're not subscribed to his channel, subscribe to his channel. And man, let me make sure you I think you do, but let me make sure you have hammer. I thought you had the hammer. Man, let me give you man, I gotta give my buddy the wrench here. My apologies, Moxie. You know how we do. All right, drop your link inside the comments section. Man, this is my buddy right here. There's very few that I even use that term with. And this is my buddy right here, Moxie approved. Man, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, subscribe to his channel. Man, he's doing great things, holding it down. So Moxie, go ahead and drop your link. And I'll drop the link if you want to jump on for a minute, just to tell people about your channel as well. You can as well. I'll drop the link if you want to jump on and just tell people about your site. But appreciate you, my brother. And thank you for the contribution tonight. And again, thank everyone that's been contributing tonight as well. All right. So we see here. Now, come on, family. This is scripture. Don't let the church tell you that Christ taught a generic message. Oh, Christ sent his disciples just out to anyone and everyone. Go all to the world. No, it was calculated because Christ made it clear that he was sent to the lost sheep out of the house of Israel. That's Matthew chapter 15 and Matthew chapter 10. He told his disciples to go out, but don't go to no Gentile other nations, only go to the tribes. Now, this is not saying that salvation is not extended to the other tribes. I want to make that clear. But guess what? The Romans don't have to worry about losing their identity. The Egyptians, even though it's prophesied, and I think in Ezekiel that for 40 years they'll lose it. You see that in Ezekiel. But they don't have to worry about what we're worrying about. Other nations that are non-melanated people that have now embraced the scriptures, they don't have to worry about an identity issue. We're the only people around the world, whether it's Brazil, you name it, we're dealing with an identity issue. So salvation is to what? Restore us. Salvation is to restore his people back to the place of who we are. Being his chosen people, set apart people. Honoring his laws, statutes, and commandments. But anyway, now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that rose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenice, Cyprus, Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto Judah only. So he wasn't sent to just go preach to any and everyone. He was sent specifically to his own brothers and sisters. See, family, we got to stop this mindset of trying to save other communities. We need to start with our own community. I have a problem with churches that want to brag about how they have an international ministry, but they have people that's not even 2 doors down from their ministry. Or matter of fact, they got people within their own ministry that is flat broke, that is struggling, living from paycheck to paycheck, being evicted, but they want to brag that they have an international ministry. Verse 20, and some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene, which when they were come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians. And we're going to prove that the Grecians were dealing with Israelites, preaching Adonai, in other words, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, ancient for Jesus. So preaching the Lord, Jesus Christ, that's what it's saying here. But in the ancient Hebrew, preaching Adonai, Yahweh Shai. Right? Unto who? The Grecians. So they're teaching them about Christ. They witnessing to these Israelites about Christ. Well, let's look at Grecian. Let's see who these Grecians are. Notice what you see, Hellenistes, right? Right? We see Hellenist here, Hellenistes, right? But we see here Hellenist or Greek-speaking Jew. This is where you get the word Hellenist. So these are Hellenized Israelites who were embracing the Greek culture. Let me say that again. These were Israelites. These Grecians were Israelites who were embracing the Greek culture. Not just the language, but the culture. All right. So we're proving this here. So as we see here, sub-entry A, one who imitates the manners and customs or the worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue. Well, we have so many of our brothers and sisters. Actually, we've been hacked to embrace the Greek culture. We've been hacked. This is why you hear in church, how many pastors do you hear talking about the Hebrew or giving you Hebrew words or teaching the Hebrew words? No, they're teaching Greek and they'll pump their chest out like they're doing something. They're Hellenized. Many of our brothers and sisters are Israelites, but that's an example of being Hellenized. They have embraced the Roman culture. They embraced the Greek culture. One who imitates the manners and customs or the worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue. Entry B, used in the New Testament of Jews or Judah or Israelites born in foreign lands. I don't like the word Jew. This is right here a word of confusion because Jews is not synonymous to all of Israel. So actually used in the New Testament of Israel or Israelites born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. So sometimes that word Hellenist or Hellenistes is transliterated over to Gentile. So that's why you see in some passages, I believe it's Romans chapter 9, either 8 or 9, when it says the Jew first and the Greek and the Gentiles. Actually, in that passage is quoting from Hosea. So they're dealing with the northern and southern kingdom. Not everywhere where you see Gentile is dealing with the nations that are non-blood descendants of Israel. Anyway, let me stop right there. So let's continue here. I got one more here. I got to prove that's an Israelite, right? Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod, was an Israelite. Let me prove that here. Let's go to Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now, there were in the church that was at Antioch, and this is what we already highlighted, certain prophets, right, and teachers. All right, I'm just seeing if my buddy Moxie wanted to join, but if not, Moxie, we'll connect for sure offline if you're not able to jump on. We'll definitely connect. So it says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
And Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch. Man, I'm butchering it. Tetrarch. Right, man. Anyway, forgive me for butchering his name. And Saul. All right. So was Manaen an Israelite? So far, we proved all the other ones were. So we know he was. But let's go to Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, page 565. Let's see what he says about Manaen. It says here, now there was one of these Essenes whose name was Manaen. Wait a minute. So he says that Manaen was an Essene or Essene who had this testimony that he not only conducted his life after an excellent manner, but had the foreknowledge of future events given him by the Most High also. So this is saying that he was good with prophecy. Then we just confirmed that with Acts. We see how Josephus is confirming the writings of what is labeled the New Testament. This man once saw Herod when he was a child. Then we just confirmed that. And going to school and saluted him as king of Judah, the southern kingdom. But he, thinking that either he did not know him or that he was in jest, put him in mind that he was but a private man. But Manaen smiled to himself and clapped him on his backside with his hand and said, however that be, thou wilt be king. So prophesying that Herod will be king. All right. And that tells you they had they were friends. So according to Josephus, Manaen was an Essene. Right. So let's continue on. Let's break this down even more. Let's go to see who the Essenes are. Going back to Josephus, the works of Josephus, right? Notice what it says here. At this time, there were three sects among the Israelites who had different opinions concerning human actions. The one was called the sect of Pharisees, the sect of Sadducees, and the other sect, the Essenes. Right? So we just proved Manaen is an Israelite. So Manaen was an Essene, all right? And guess what? And Essenes are what? Israelites. So all of them was Israelites. So Barnabas, Simeon, Lucius, Manaen, they all were Israelites. We just proved it. So Simeon wasn't called the title nigger simply because of his skin complexion, but also because of his position. Let me prove that here. Let me say that again. Simeon wasn't called the title.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
Because of his skin complexion, but because of his position. So we already proved that they all were dark melanated people. But Simeon, there was something special about Simeon. Let me show you. So is nigger, interchangeable or connected to nigger, Nigger? We almost wrapped. We're getting close here. We're about to wrap this up. Let's go to the Century Dictionary, 1895. Right? Let's see what it says about Nigger. Nigger. Look at it. Look at the phonology here. Right? Niger. So that tells you that it is pronounced which way?
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger. Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
Come on, family. I'm giving you nothing but top-notch sources. I'm giving you so much to go with here. All right. And I know you guys are going to have to go back over and unpack it, download the message, download the video, share it though. That's the key. Share it. Share it. Don't just hoard it to yourself. Share it. Just like I'm sharing with you. I could write a book and put all of this in a book. I could have been did that. I've been told I should have written a number of books with all this information I've been sharing. I've been told that a number of times, and I actually started writing a book, but it's just my conscience. It's like the Most High is not telling me to write a book and have you guys pay for that book. So Niger, and we see Niger, formerly Niger, Niger, Nagar, right? We see the different pronunciations of it here, but it says Negro, there go the word Negro, a black man, a Negro, see Negro, and it says Niger is not as generally supposed, right? A corruption of Negro. So what this is saying at that time, that the word Niger, nigger, was not as it's been taken and corrupted now, but at that time it's saying it was not as generally thought of as a corrupt form of the word Negro, but is regularly developed from the earlier form nigger, which is derived through, right? And it's just giving more information on here. But the key is a black man, a Negro. Nigger, Niger, is more English in form than Negro, and was formerly and to some extent still is used without appropriate intent. But its use is now confined to colloquial or illiterate speech in which it generally conveys more or less contempt. But notice what you see here. These are some examples here. And most of the provinces are many rich mines, but the Nigars opposed the Portugals for working in them. All right. And these are some other usage of the word showing that Negroes is interchangeable with Nigars. And as we see here, Niggers, Niger. All right. So let's go to the Oxford. Let's see what the Oxford say about this. Going back to this compact dictionary. Wait a minute. We see it inside the Oxford dictionary, the compact edition. Yes. And look at what you see on your screen. Nigger. Then it says also Niggar. Then we see Niger and also Nigre, all still pronounced the same pretty much. But it has a similar meaning when it says colloquialism, right? And usual contemptuous. So this is by the time the colonizers got to this word. And they began to what? Make it what? A derogative term. All right. That's what this is explaining here. It says here, contempt of the poor blacks or niggers, Niggers, as they are called, as they are there called, seems the national sin of America, showing how when we got to this country, guess what? This country took that word, as I proved with the laws of South Carolina, made the word Negro, Nigar, Nigger, and Negus, Negus, made it all a negative word. As we see, a similar error has turned Othello into a rank, woolly, padded, thick-lipped nigger, Nigger. All right, so this is just giving us a history of this word. And we see here B, loosely or incorrectly applied to members of other dark-skinned races. All right, so it says loosely or incorrectly applied to members of others. So outside of our group, right, the American Negroes, right? All those that was enslaved, saying that this word has been applied to other groups that's outside the Negus, the Negroes. Come on, family. Come on. It's right there in front of us. Right there in front of us. All right. So let's go to the word Negus, Negus. All right. Wait a minute. Look what it says, family. Negus or Negus, title of the ruler of Abyssinia. 1590s from Amharic, Shemitic. Negush, king. From a stem of Nagasha, he forced rule. Negus means king. This is why you see this boy here who was asked to spell this word in the spelling bee. This is why you see him sweating. Right here it is. This is why he's sweating right
Negus. Andrew, did you say the word loudly for the judges?
Nigga.
Negus.
One more time.
Nigger.
Negus.
Negus. Nigga.
Negus.
Right? That's why he was sweating. You could Google that video. Man, he was sweating. He was uncomfortable because they was like, spell Negus. And he was so nervous about it. Man, he was, as you can see, he was sweating. He asked them this question.
Could you use it in a sentence?
Real nigga roll call. Niggas bleed. Jigga my nigga. Niggas for life. Real niggas don't die. Shame on a nigga. Suck a nigga. Ain't no nigga. Ain't no nigga. Ain't no nigga.
He literally had to ask him to use it in a sentence. All right. But we see that this word it means a king. Haile Selassie his title was Negus. Negus. Right? So let's look at this Amharic language here because it's a Shemitic language. This is how I prove that ancient Hebrew, right, didn't have all these vowels that we see today. Didn't have the influence of the Proto-Indo-European language. Didn't have the influence of the Germans and all that. It just had a single ah. I had brothers and sisters, literally say, well, that doesn't sound right. I'm not caught up into what sounds right. Ancient Hebrew was referred to by many linguists of being a baby language because it sounded like baby language. Gaga, goo-goo, not goo-goo, but gaga, dada, mama, ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za. I'm just quoting some of the ancient letters. So it says before the 4th century, Ge'ez, which actually the ancient Ge'ez is actually pronounced Ga'az, had not made use of vowels, but the usage of vowels was incorporated into Ge'ez or Ge'ez when the Ashkemites converted to Christianity. So it's saying that when they converted, the Ashkemites converted to Christianity, they decided to modify the language. It says which occurred sometime in the 4th century. Pankhurst suggests that the reason that the alphabet was modified at the time could have been due to the wish to make biblical text more intelligible to newly illiterate. Now that's getting back into what is called your navel cavity. Your navel cavity determines how you pronounce your words, right? I'm not going to go too geek mode on it, but this is an example, right? So to the right, you see Ga'az. This is Ga'az, which comes from the Saba'an or Sabine language. But this is how it would be pronounced. Now tell me if this does not sound like baby talk. And let me zoom in to let you hear how Ga'az initially was pronounced, each letter. Ah, ba, ga, da, za, ta, ah, ya, ka, la, ma, sa, a, ka, ra, wa, za, ha, na, sa, ta, fa. See, our people were simple people. See, this so-called modern Hebrew, all it is called Israeli language. They made things so complicated. They made things so hard. So that way they can make it what? Easier for them to pronounce these words. See, this is now when we get into phonics. This is when we start getting into ebonics, right? They call it ebonics. When we do that on our own, when we start adjusting this English language to make it conducive to us, it gets labeled ebonics. But they did that with our own language. They took our language and added all these different vowels to it and complicated it. Hebrew reads from and writes from right to left. They made us write from what? Right, left to right. That's why many of us within our community having issues, learning disabilities, because we were what? Always wired to write and read and write from right to left, not left to right. And it's medically proven that it can have have issues with how you process thoughts. It can mess up. It can have influence on your behavior patterns. Come on, family. Come on, family. I'm giving you sources, family. So does Negus mean King of Kings, Lord of Lords? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. King of Kings? Lord of Lords? Wait a minute. Negus, Negar, all these words, these different meanings of these words, pronunciations of these words. Wait a minute. You telling me it means Kings of Kings, Lord of Lord? Wait a minute. There's somebody in our Dabar HaKodesh, right? Our Messiah who has the title of King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Wait a minute. We got to, I got to bring this in. All right. Notice this here. Negus, Nagaste, niggers, Niggers, nigga, Nigga. All of these three words still ties into what? Negus. It says a unique derivative of an ancient title. Negus is king, a term originated from Abyssinia, a king used as a title of the sovereign of Ethiopia. The term is originated by its native Ethiopian Amharic language. But guess what? Amharic comes from a Shemitic language. It comes from ancient Hebrew. So therefore, if we see Negus or Nagas, if we see this here, we should be able to find a word in the Hebrew that sounds similar to it and have the same meaning. We're going deep here. Since the creation of the title Negus has been used to identify, but defined differently to physiology. Physiological changes. Yeah, I have to make sure I'm paying attention to these words. Change the minds of captive Africans. Wait a minute. Notice what it says. Negus has been used to identify, but defined differently to physiologically change the mind. So by changing these words, right, putting different meanings to it, is to what? Affect how we think, how we process. This can cause mental disorders. This can cause learning disabilities. This can cause strongholds. And when you understand what the word stronghold from the Greek, it means conversation. So you can have learning disabilities that can hinder you from what? Having simple conversations. We almost finished here. So captive Africans to rethink of themselves as someone less than whom they are. Many Western names like Negus originated from religious texts like the Bible. So this is just giving you some other sources that use words that's similar to this. But here's the kicker. Names related to a religious expression such as worthy of praise. Negus, Negaste. In other words, Nagas, Nagasta. Right? I'm saying in the ancient Gaas, King of Kings. Wait a minute. King of Kings. And this is a prayer right here. A prayer of the Negus, Nagaste, or Nagas, Nagasta. King of Kings. And this is a prayer here that they list here. All right. But let's go to the Oxford Dictionary definition of Negus. Man, I'm giving you a lot of information. Let's go back here. Notice what this says here. I didn't put it back around here, but still, notice what it says here. Negus, king. Wait a minute. So that you mean to tell me Negus, nigger, right? All these words pretty much means king. It's a term of royalty. But now they have us so warped, they mess with our psychic to where we are ashamed to even say the word. Come on now. Some of you guys were hesitant. Some of you guys were like, man, was cringing every time you hear me play this clip right here.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
Come on now. It's all right. It's all right if you cringed, because it just proves just what we just went over, that all of us as a people have been hacked. What is the Hebrew word synonymous to Negus? Here it is. Guess what you see here? Now, in the Israeli, it's pronounced Nagid. The ancient Hebrew, Nagad. So this is why you see Nagid, right? This is making the E sound, right? So you have the Saray Yod, you have the Karet Yod. So, but nevertheless, but this makes an E sound. If it was by itself, it'd make an I sound. So it's Nagid. Here, Nagad. I mean, got a dot there. Nagid. So Nagid. But anyway, the primitive root word is Nagad. Doesn't that sound like niggas, nega? Wait a minute. But let's see what this word means. Let's see if it falls in alignment with niggas. It says a commander, civil, military, or religious. But then it says here, governor, chief governor, leader, noble, prince, ruler. Excellent thing. Come on, family. 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 16. Notice what it says here. Tomorrow about this time I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin, and thou shalt anoint him to be captain. Nagid, right? I'm saying it in the Israeli, or Nagayad. This is the ancient Hebrew. Nagayad, right? Still sound like what? Nagad over my people. So he's being made king. So this still lines up with niggas being what? King. So we see in ancient Hebrew that word confirms that it is what? A term of royalty. We've been hacked. 2 Samuel chapter 5 verse 2, we'll see the same word here. Guess what? It's saying here again, when Saul was king over us, this is dealing with, notice what this says here. When Saul was king over us, thou was he the that led us out and brought us in Israel, and Yahweh said to thee, thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. Wait a minute. So we still see that word means royalty. Oh, come on, family. Come on, family. Come on, family. I done dropped some mics here. We done broke up a whole studio of mics. But let me give you one last nugget here. One last mic drop. Let me give you a deeper discovery here, because I want to explain to you guys the word picnic, right? Because some would say, no, I don't mean what. No, I'm going to prove to you what picnic actually means. All right. And we're going to wrap this up. All right. Let's deal with this deeper study, a deeper discovery of the word niggers. So this is coming from Leslie Dunkling, The Facts on File, Dictionary of First Names, page 205. Look at this, right? So it's telling us the word kneel. Kneel, it says here, kneel, nial, right? The name was Latinized as Nigellus. Wait a minute. So kneel come from Nigellus or Negales. Wait a minute. Kneel is from the Latin word nigellus, so that it was later thought to derive from the Latin nigger, black. So kneel, nigellus, nigger, right? Black. The Latin form also led to the variant form nigel or nigel, right? In the 10th century, in the 19th century, Neil was predominantly a Scottish name used sporadically in the rest of Britain, but only became really popular in the 1950s, reached a peak in the 1970s, and still in the British. Well, this is giving you more information on this word. But here, as you see here, this is some of the different variants of it. But the key that I want to highlight is Neil, in all these different forms of it. Guess what? It says, but they are Danish and Swedish forms of Nicholas. So it says Neil connects to Nicholas. Wait a minute, Pastor. How am I going to connect Neil to Nicholas. And what does that have to do with nigger? All right. I'm glad you guys asked. So Neil derives from the word Nicholas, right? And Nicholas derives from the word nigger. You got to break this down. So nig, N-I-G-G, is the short form of N-I-G-G-E-R-S. So nig, N-I-G-G, is also the short form of Nicholas. Let me break this down. How am I? Let me prove that nig is the short form of Nicholas. Well, let's go to another source. Patrick Hanks, Hodges or Fleur Hodges, A Dictionary of Surnames, 1988, page 387. Let's see what it says here. Notice what you see on your screen. You see nig, Nicholas. Wait a minute. I'm going geek mode up in here. I see my cousin Benea in the building. Let me post this link here. Anytime you want to jump on, cuz. So family, right? I'm proving to you that nig is the short form of Nicholas. I just gave you a source here. I'm just proving it to you. I'm not just talking about it, right? I'm literally giving you actual sources, right? And showing you the sources. So nig, N-I-G-G, is also synonymous to the word nick or nick, N-I-C-K. So what is the meaning of nick? Notice what nick means, right? Nick, right? It says to make a notch or notches in, to steal. Wait a minute. Nick means to steal? Wait a minute. Probably from earlier slang sense of to catch, take unawares, arrest. Wait a minute. So when we say picnic, right? When you say nick, it means what? To make a notch or notches in, but the key is to steal. Wait a minute. That sounds like steal away, right? Ganab, the Hebrew word for steal, right? Kidnap, capture. So that word nick, right? As you see here, it means to steal, but then it goes on to say to catch, take unawares, arrest. But we still got to bring this in. So it says masculine, proper name, familiar form of Nicholas. Wait a minute. So Nick means to what? Steal. It means to snatch. Let's go back here. It means to catch. It means to take. It means to take. Unawares, arrest. Pick a what? Oh, man. Come on, family. All right. Come on, family. Nick, the devil. So what is the meaning of picnic? Let's go to the word picnic. Notice what it says here. 1748 in Sheffield's letter, but the thing itself apparently was rare before 1800s as an English institution. It originally meant a fashionable social affair. Wait a minute. Picnic, right? Nick means to what? Go out and what? Arrest, take. But it says a fashionable social affair, not necessarily outdoors. So you can have a picnic outdoors or indoors, in which every partaker, wait a minute, that's lynching too, right? In which every partaker contributed something to the general table. So every partaker had to do what? Participate in what? This lynching. Pick a what? Nick. In which every partaker contributed something to the general table. From the French, pique-nique, perhaps a reduplication of piqûre, to pick, peck. So pick, peck, all of this ties into what? Pick. But then we see here, neek, worthless thing. Oh my goodness. So pick a worthless thing. So we were viewed as what? Worthless things. So who was the worthless thing according to our oppressors? As they pick for their social event that requires all participants to bring something to the table. Come on, family. That's us. Mic drop. That's us. I done went through the whole presentation, family. I done went through the whole presentation. Mic drop. Got my cousin here, Benaya. Man, I thought you was knocked out.
Close to it. Close to it. Yeah. Praise Most High, man. That I called it because man, you hitting on something right now. Cause you hitting on something. That's one of the. I think that's like one of the greatest secrets is that the meaning of nigged, of niggas. Because people, you just don't know You got me over here scrambling in the background because I had a old presentation on Nigget, and one of the references that I came across with was when it talked about King David.
Yeah,
you know, King David was called a Nigget.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was pointing out. And guess what? When we see niggas means what? King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
Yep.
So that means that Christ is being called the head nigga in charge.
Right.
People used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they call me Batman. Right.
Yep. Yep. And even in one of the things I came across was even in Spain and Portugal, like there's this old German document where it lists out the lineage of Yahya, right? So, if you all don't know, there's a branch of Judah, though, there's a branch of Judah that went off into Spain and Portugal, because at some point, 711 AD, they'll tell you that if you read about it in the books, like the Moors and also the Yehudi at the same time, they conquered the territory that we call Spain and Portugal today. And there was a time period where they lived over there. They pretty much the Yehudi were given like certain cities, like Granada was one of them to rule. And in those cities, you had lineages of families, one of which being a family by the name of Yahya, right? And the reason why I bring that up is because there's a branch of Yahya where they know the lineage of Yahya going all the way back to King David, and it's actually listed in a German document. But the thing that the takeaway there is that Yahya was also called a Nigget. And Nigget was, during that time, it was referred to as the head of the diaspora. So when in 70 AD, Titus kicks out, we flee from Jerusalem. Our people are scattered all over the place. Was it 1492 again in Spain and Portugal, or in Spain particularly, got kicked out again in the diaspora. There was a head family. There was a head family that was kind of literally in charge of the diaspora, and they were referred to as the Nigget. Like the full title was the Nigget Hagolah. I'm sorry, the Rosh Hagolah. The Rosh Hagolah was also a name for him. But yeah,
Rosh is Rosh in the Israeli is called Resh.
Resh.
And in the ancient Hebrew is Ra'ash, which means head.
Yes.
Protocol.
Yes.
Rank.
Yep. And they were the ones that were the head of the diaspora. And like I said, those like that family had multiple names. One of the names was Neget. The other name was Yahya. The other name was Negro. And these are some of the names that we're called even today. Like people don't realize that Negro also ties back to the same people that were called Neget over in Spain and Portugal.
Yep.
So it's all intertwined, man.
Yeah, and because you gotta do you have the link to the teaching you did on it? Because I know you did a video on that. Because I was gonna say, if you want, drop it in the comment section so that people could go and really watch and get educated on what you just pointed out. Because you put a detailed presentation. I think you put at least two or three of them together, like tying it all together under the Hidden Hebrews series. So if you want to drop some of those links here, okay. I want to just let everyone know that Benaiah Israel, that's my cousin, and moderators, if you can just grab the link and drop it in the comment section for him, so that way you guys could go over to that channel, and he has a lot of some foundational educational things that you guys need to watch, especially for those that are not familiar with the Spanish Inquisition, with what he just brought out. I know I touched on it on, dealing with the word Negro, but I didn't go into any details on what he will share with the information that he has on his channel. So you have the floor, cuz.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that like the name of the video was called King David the Nigget.
Let me see here. I'm gonna see if I can find that here.
Oh, I got it. I was just trying to find the link to pop back in the chat here. But yeah, man, people don't realize, man, it's all tied together. Like all these things that that we use to identify us, like, the word Negro is actually a Spanish and Portuguese brew. Not only is it like a Spanish and Portuguese brew word, but it is also a surname for the Yayas, for a particular family that was exiled into Spain and Portugal. The same family. So if we were making a list, right, we would say this family was called Negroes, this family was called Yayas, this family's, they were called, the Negus, right? And, of course, they were described at that time as being black, brown, swarthy, dark skin. Especially like, one of the things that we tell people is that, you always have to use the old references where the books have a publication date of like roughly like 1850 or older. They consistently describe the Israelites over in Spain and Portugal as a dark-skinned melanated people, right? And we're not talking about tan. Like sometimes people will say, well, I know it says black, but really that's like tan. He just had a little sunshine and
yeah.
Like,
what's the other one?
Swarthy.
No, I'm saying as far as what they try to use, tan. They use what do they use when they try to? Oh man, I can't. They'll say Middle Eastern, or they'll say, what's the other one? I can't think of the one that they use. And I just said it earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, they try to come up with these terms to try to downplay the dark melanated negress. I like to say negress, right?
Yeah.
And but man, I can't think of olive. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Thanks, Lenny. Who else? Yeah, a few people posted it here. Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. That's all really what I wanted to share with you. And I was actually just trying to share a like a screenshot here, but I don't think it's going to work out. But
you sure? If you want to, I think you can share it on your end, and then I guess it'll give me the request to share it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a try here in the background, see if it works, family. Usually, like sometimes when you're doing stuff on the fly, it doesn't really work out. But let me see here, because I actually have my. Okay, so it's uploading now. Let's see if it will display here. Just give it a few minutes. But yeah, one of the things I like to tell people, man, it's like because it's like if you were to if you had like a missing person, and you would go over to the police station, and you would fill out first thing police would ask you this, like, all right, so describe who are you looking for, right? What does he look like? Is he dark, white? Is he tall, short? And you would fill out all these attributes that describe the people that you're looking for. And one of the things that we that came across was that, like, just before the transatlantic slave trade, there was a people, and when we look at their profile, they were dark, they had short, nappy, woolly hair. Believe it or not, they were known for their poetry to music. Today we would call that like rap. They were known for like wearing hoodies. They were associated with living in ghettos. They were called Negroes, right? And they were associated with the name Nigget, and you would come up with this list of like 10 things that if you looked at that list, family, I'm telling you, you'd be like, well, man, that's us. that's me, right? And what I tell people is like, this is where you come to one of the greatest disappearing acts of all times, and that's just before the transatlantic slave trade starts. We have the disappearance of these people from Spain and Portugal. It's like they get put. I mean, we can track them in these old books. The old books will actually track them to the west coast of Africa, because that's where they were expelled to, and that's where they fled to. But then, poof, in some of these books, they just disappear. But then magically, this is where our history starts out in a lot of the history books that we were taught. 1619, poof. When Black History Month, which is next month, comes up, we're taught that, hey, you guys, we just found you swinging on trees, 1619, we saved you, right? But that's one of the things that we notice when doing the research. It's like, man, you have these people, and it's not like it was just a few people, but you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. I try to explain it to people that this had to be something of an event of biblical proportions. It was almost a million people that got expelled in this one time. And the one thing that you see is when you look at these history books, like everybody was talking about it. It wasn't like it was just this minor localized event. And it was like, no, everybody was talking about it. And the fact that it's not taught to us when they talk about what Spain and Portugal was doing leading up to the transatlantic slave trade should tell us that, hey, something's up. You know, these histories are related, you know, but definitely, family, you know, that's how we tie our history. Because if people are wondering, like, how do we tie our history back into the Israelites? Like, this is the primary connection that we tie our history back to the Israelites. And don't even get me started on the actual laws that govern the transatlantic slave trade on the west coast of Africa. That's because that's just the most, I call that the easy button. Like, you look at the easy button, you people say, well, how do you know that you're Israel? Well, look at the laws. the literal law, you know, that was instituted and executed upon by the Portuguese government was called the Manuelian Ordinances. And when you look at the Manuelian Ordinances, and unfortunately it is written in Old Portuguese, and it's hard to translate, so you can't just take it and put it in Google Translate. You will get a little bit of translation on there, but sometimes it might not make too much sense. But you can get the gist of it that, hey, wait a minute, this law is talking about the Jews. Wait a minute, this law is talking about getting, making slaves and stuff like that. Wait a minute. And that's when you'll see that the laws that they were executing upon in Portugal were laws against the Jews, and they were laws that authorized the transatlantic slave trade in the same law.
Yeah, and the naturalization laws too, what they used to have us embrace their culture. It still enslaved us, but that's where they had the slaves that were leaders per se. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they were still enslaved, but they had more privileges. You know, kind of like we would say today, the house Negroes, so to speak. But
right.
Just real quick, I'm gonna give some shout outs here, and then if you want to present what's in your presentation, go for it. I'm gonna just give some shout outs real quick. I want to say thank you, and family. Let's show some love to Prave C. Thank you for the super sticker. I also want to thank Jacqueline Waller. Thank you for, I think you gave 2 of them. And I want to just thank you for the love and support. And also, Sister Yvette, really appreciate you. Been supporting me for years. Thank you for the words of encouragement, and thank you for the contributions tonight. Family, let's show Sister Yvette some love. And of course, my buddy Moxie approved. Appreciate the love tonight. And family, don't forget to subscribe to his channel. Also, let's see here. Selena, you are anointed to teach scripture. I thank the Most High for you. Thank you for the words of encouragement. Thank you for the love and support in watching these lessons, because that's what really that's how I minister to. That's how Benea is ministered to, is knowing that you guys are embracing the information and putting it to use. Also, lastly here, want to show some love to Timbo Slice. Great information, Pastor. Really appreciate you, Timbo. Thank you again for the love and support. Thank you for the contributions tonight. And thank everyone that have contributed tonight. Really appreciate you guys. And everything that you guys sow or contribute, we put to use. That's how we're able to do these presentations, these videos, and so forth. So thank you for the investment. You got the floor, Benea.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Cause I just wanted to share with family just real quick, because I know it's at the tail end of the lesson, but just want to show you just a couple of slides, family. And this is, if you can see off to the left, it says, the Holy Bible according to the, authorized version. And I just want to show you that King David was called Negus, and just to kind of land back on what Pastor Kelly was talking about, where it says, I'm going to read it to you just in case it's too small on your screen, but it says, the title captain, or Negus, which is just one of the definitions of it, captain, and in the quotes or parentheses, it says Negus, of God's people, commonly used of David is now applied to Hezekiah. Hezekiah called nigga too, because he was David's true follower. The same acknowledgement of Hezekiah's faithful following of David appears in the expression, the God of David, thy father. So basically, just I just like throwing this out there, family, just to let you know that King David himself and actually also Hezekiah were called Negus. Think about that, fam. You jump into a time machine, going over to Jerusalem. The last thing you expect from people to be called is nigga. You hear nigga, you be like, wait a minute. Did I just hear what I thought I heard? Hey, not God.
Exactly. And see, and even to your point, because that what I shared with them, one of the examples was even with King Saul.
Yeah.
King Saul was called the Negid, or not God. Also, what's that? I can't think of his name. Not King Hezekiah. Who was with Zerubbabel?
Come on.
Zerubbabel was the priest. Oh no, it was Zerubbabel helped lead the temple being rebuilt. I can't remember, but yeah, they were also referred to as that as well. But oh well, it's 1 a.m, so my memory is not as sharp as it would be.
Right.
So
yeah, but yeah, like I said, I just wanted to show you just a couple of references though, fam, and this will probably be the last one.
Go back. Oh, go back one more. Matter of fact, go forward.
Oh, sorry, my mouse is super
right.
sensitive.
Oh, go back. You just went. Go forward one slide. Go forward. Go more, right here.
Oh, sorry.
You just missed it. So, family, when you see that word, and I'm gonna say it from ancient Hebrew, right? When you see, and I'm saying right here, you see the Raj Gola, but when you look at it in ancient Hebrew, Ra'aj Ha Gawalath, right? And I'm just reading it in ancient Hebrew, but guess what? You see Ha Ra'aj, that means protocol, that means top, that means like beginning, right? That head, and the pictograph is a head. And then when you see ha, that is the prefix, but then we see gala or gawala, but when you look at it gala, if we just do it that way, and we add that y to the g, so gala also connects to what? Redemption. Right? It also means reveal. I think I just lost my cousin here. He must have hit the wrong one. I'll wait for him to come back. So what he shared on his screen, Gala, means redemption. And also, guess what? Many of you guys are related, right? We all are related. Not many of you guys. We all are related to the Gullah people, right? Because Gullah comes from Gala. And Gala means reveal also. But you had a floor because, I know we got knocked out here. Let me bring that back up.
Yeah, that was on my end. My bad, fam. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to show you just a couple of slides, family, just to show you the relationship of Neged and Nagad and Rosh Hagolah. Like all those terms, family, like they're all tied together. Sometimes you'll see them interchangeably when you're looking at some of these references. But during the time of the diaspora, I just want to relay that the Rosh Hagolah or the Negeds were the leaders of the diaspora, right? Like especially like when Spain and Portugal and they were expelled from Spain and Portugal, there were Negeds in Spain at the time. Before they came over to Spain, before you had the 711 AD and the Moors and the Israelites conquered that territory, you had Negeds over in I want to say and like in the Iraq area. I don't think I have that slide in here, but you'll see them over in that area, and then you'll see them migrating over into Spain and Portugal, and Yeah, I just wanted to show you just one last one, fam. Let's see here, and this is a good one here too. Well, actually, make it two more, two more, right? But it says, I'm just going to read. You can probably see the green highlight where it says Neget Yisrael. It says the official title of Samuel in Granada. This is in Granada, Spain. His official title. He's walking around in Spain with a title called Neget Yisrael. That's what they called him, fam. Walking down the street, hey, Neget Yisrael. Think about that. So that's what I'm saying, family. It's a lot of these terms, family, it's like when we hear them, to Pastor Kelly's point, we'll cringe. We may cringe thinking that, man, this is a name or a term of reproach, but in actuality, family, it's not.
And to your point, real quick, because think about DMX. I mean, all of us used to, dance off the songs. Remember he had that one, all my niggas, right?
Right.
And he used to have a song, and I mean, we used to dance off of that, and think about even in the streets of, the places that we've come from, we use it it's positive among us, as long as nobody else use it.
Mm.
Hey, well, hey, I heard you say, call your friend nigga. That's something between us,
right.
Kind of like in my DMX voice, dude. No, what we do, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but among us, hey, we use that term like this is my boy,
right?
Or this is my girl. But let someone outside of the community use those fighting words.
Mm.
So we, even to your point, it's the way that we have been hacked, but we still have a form of a level of correction, even though it's selected, where we are in terms of how we use it.
Right.
So you have it, Benea.
Yep. Well, like I said, just make a few points, family, before we drop off. So just want to make the point that like all this ties together. Like this all ties together. Like if you listening to these lessons, and maybe one week we're talking about Nagas, right? And the other maybe another week you're hearing lessons about Spain and Portugal, or maybe another week you hear us talking about the Limba, right? I just want to say, family, it's all tied together. And what I mean by that is that, so just to give you an example, like for instance, let's say we were talking about the Limba, right? And so the Limba, if you don't know, like, when some of us take our DNA and we do this thing called a genetic distance test, and basically it just shows you how closely related you are to like all the tribes in Africa. Which one are you the most closest related to? And a lot of so-called African Americans are coming back with matches or genetic distance value matches with the Limba. Right. And the Limba, they're in South Africa. And according to their own history, they'll tell you that, they just recently arrived or migrated over into South Africa, but they came from Israel. Right. And actually you can find an ancient old map of Israel with a city named Limba. Right. This is like during the Maccabean period, during a period when we call like the intertestamental period between what folks would say the Old Testament and New Testament. Like during that time, you can find on maps a city called Limba.
Yep,
it's to the right, I believe, of the Dead Sea, and so they have ties to Yisrael, and according to their oral tradition, they left, or their forefather, whose name was Senna, left, and Senna was a descendant of. Was the descendant of the Israelites, of course, that went into Babylon, Babylonian captivity. And when you look at the people that came out or went in, they actually have their lineage traced back to Zerubbabel. It goes back to Zerubbabel. And the reason why I bring that up is that if you're looking at the screen, you'll see that where it says, two sons of Hezekiah fled to Spain, and they gave rise to the Yahya family. So the Yahya family, they are, close relatives to close relatives to Zerubbabel, close relatives to close relatives, of course, to Hezekiah. And the reason why I can say that, and of course, close relatives to the Limba. And the reason why I can say that is because of this document here. And you probably can't see it, family. I know, and I apologize, Pastor Kelly, because I don't have it running on my computer so that I can zoom in and zoom out like you normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look hard enough, if you strain your actually it's
I can see it on my end. It looks pretty clear.
Yeah, but I think the at the very top it has King David and King Solomon, but I think on this copy it's actually cut off.
Oh, I don't see that. I just see 75, 2 sons of Hezekiah fled to Spain, just what you read.
Yeah.
In the paragraph below that.
Yeah, because at the very top, family, it has like King David, King Solomon, and Zerubbabel, right? And Hezekiah. And the point is that these people whose lineage, this is a lineage that one lineage branch that we're looking at, but this is the branch of the Negroes. This is the branch that eventually becomes, I think it's like, if you look on here and you see these numbers on the left, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, around number 40, 48, 47, you'll see Jacha, which is really Yahya. That's the Yahya family. And the Yahyas end up changing their names to Negroes. And the Yahyas were also, the ones that they have their lineage going all the way back to David. And the Yahyas were the ones that were called Negus. And the Yahyas were the ones that also have close connections to the Limba because of the relatives that went into or came out of Babylon. Their relative was Senna, and our relative was Zerubbabel. So that's how you kind of tie that in to the Limba. That's why when you take your DNA test, you find that you have a very close relationship to the Limba because we were the ones. I believe that we were the ones, the descendants of those that came out of Babylonian captivity.
Absolutely, man. I definitely appreciate it, man. With all what you shared, did anyone you already dropped the link, or did you drop the link? Cause
yeah, I put the link in there, and like I said, fam, I
put it again, and I'll unpin because I'll put a Cash App pin up there, but
okay.
I'll pin your link there to the top.
Okay, all right. Well, just give me a moment to find it, fam. But definitely check it out, fam. Whenever you get a chance, it's a little sporadic right now, but definitely on the video, it's a little bit more structured. So, and like I said, the name of the video is called King David the Niger. So, King David the Niger. And let me see if I can go back over to the chat here. Let's see comments. Join the chat, and let's see if it'll.
Well, while you're doing that, I want to give a shout out to Shara. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you for the super sticker tonight, or super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone that contributed tonight, and just the support. Really appreciate you guys for really getting us to this point when it comes to doing these teachings. And matter of fact, I think we almost had 1,000 likes. So we need 60 likes. So if you haven't hit that like button, hit it now. Let's get that the likes up to 1,000 before we conclude. But really appreciate you guys. Let me go ahead and pin this. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm going to pin yours to, there it is. So family, there's the link at the top. And I encourage you guys to watch the video because, Benaya puts so much into not just giving the information, but top notch, 5 stars in how he present the information as well. Because it's one thing to give information, but the important part of it is how you present the information as well. So again, we want to encourage everyone to hit that like button. We at 968, so we just need 32 more likes, and we'll be over that 1,000 threshold when it comes to the likes. But Benai, any final words you want to give to everyone before we wrap this up?
No, great lesson, because I think it's a just like I said, just one of those things where you hear the name, man, and you just don't make that connection. That I think the last thing people would expect to associate those terms with is like King David, like,
yeah,
and royalty and leadership and stuff like that. But that's what it was, fam. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, anyone you want to throw in, you know how we do. We have the trash can, and we have some orders. If you want to give a 3-piece and send out some orders, but anyone or any group or that you want to just give the trash can to.
Yeah, those people that are trolling Kyrie at his basketball game, sitting courtside, giving him a hard time because he said that he was a Jew too, and that bothered him. For him to say it. Yeah, I definitely want to give a trash can to those folks.
Yeah, definitely want to give them a trash can. And also, I want to give them a 3-piece. And of course, give them their order to go. Each short to hit that 1,000 likes. So I want to encourage you guys, if you are subscribed, double check, because YouTube, they do have a tendency to unsubscribe subscribers. So go back. If you think that you are subscribed, double check just to make sure that you are still subscribed. So I encourage you guys to hit the like, also subscribe to the channel. I know my accent kicks in. Sometimes it sounds like I'm saying subscribe, but I'm actually saying subscribe. So, but subscribe to the channel, and really appreciate you guys for the love and support tonight. And we'll do this again tomorrow night, because I still want to deal with the Khazars, but I'll put the thumbnail. And if you're available tomorrow, cuz you want to go geek mode, we could do that tomorrow night as well. But depending on how your schedule is, but definitely appreciate it, family. And just going to go ahead and close out here because I have to get ready for tomorrow. We have our Shabbat service. So on We Woke Now Extended, we'll be streaming the service over there, the We Woke Now Extended channel. So really appreciate you guys for the love and support. And with that being said, in the words of the Most High that he gave to Moses in Acts chapter 14, verse 13 and 14, he said to Moses to give them these following words to Israelites. He said, "Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today, they will never have power over you ever again. The Most High will fight for you." But here's the kicker, family. We have to hold our peace. In other words, the Hebrew word that's there is charash, which means be quiet. Can't go back, can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to
Genesis chapter 10.